2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Perfect. What's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, Tony Dunn, a.k.a. The Professor. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. We're coming off of another loss, a yucky poo loss, where the third quarter continues to be, I don't even know what it continues to be, a bugaboo. Like, we got to find some name for the third quarter. It's like a crazy, scary animal in the woods, and I hate it. We lead every time, but damn, we lose. We lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. Anyway, I'm here with my boy, Cody Lashney, my co-host, my partner. I'm trying to get excited. I'm trying to get hyped. Tonight's show is the Brady Bunch, and the Brady Bunch is a bunch of bums on the offensive line, my friend.
Yeah,
bless you.
Listen, we're coming off of a very disappointing loss against the Philadelphia Eagles. We've had some time to let it sit, to be with our emotions, to really observe what we feel this football team to be. And listen, man, we all feel some type of way about it. And that's what Tuesday nights are for. And there's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than right here talking the Carolina Panthers, chilling with my dogs on the C3 podcast. And as always, we're going to do it with the most lit fans in all of YouTube. You already know them and love them. It's 10 Tizzy, ATX19, Jorge Marcelo, Panthers 1981, Sideshow Rob, Tim Estes, Triple JJJ, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
I ain't doing your laundry, fools. But that guy might be my brother. CK, has it gotten worse or better since the post game? So I was trying to think about, should I be more disappointed, more high? Like after 48 hours, are you up or down even more from where you were?
Like, I think there's only one way to go from here, right? It's going up, because like we were so bottom of the level, like bottom of the barrel after that game Sunday, because it hurt worse than worse than a blowout did, because it was like we had that game, it was ours, and just every possible thing that could go wrong did, and that's tough to experience. But you guys got to keep in mind, the reason I say it's going to get better is we are going to get Christian McCaffrey back, hopefully, and remaining healthy the entire season. We are going to get Stephon Gilmore into the lineup here in a couple of weeks. Like, there are pieces coming to make our team better. The one piece that we need is offensive line, and I don't know that help is on the horizon here, but we'll still be able to battle it out, and I'm just hoping that this team can find a way to put it together. I'm hoping this offensive line finds a way to mesh because I mentioned it before I got off the post game. We have a murderer's row of teams that we have to face on the back half of the season. And this type of gameplay is not going to give us any shot at a playoff.
Greg, aka the Bat Daddy, feelings, emotions trending up or down since Sunday.
I'm trying to keep the ship steady, to be honest with you. I'm feeling kind of down, but I'm trying to look optimistically about it. And it's tonight. I know that a lot of people are going to call or have something to say about Sam Darnold, and I get it. He's made some mistakes, but they can throw all these emotional jabs they want to at me. I'm going to hit them with some statistical haymakers, because whether you like it or not, Sam Darnold is still, after this week, a top 10 quarterback.
So, tonight's show is the Brady Bunch. You can be a part of it by participating in the chat room, which my boy gave the shouts out to everybody. And you can call into the show at 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Smash thumbs up. Be a part of our community. Cody, I gotta say, my personal opinion is trending down.
Down. Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to bolster everybody's feelings. We're trying to make us all feel good. I don't want to be a signaler of panic either. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the person that's like, oh my God, we're gonna die. We're gonna die.
Embrace your inner T, baby. It's okay.
The sky's not falling. That's right.
Not about this. It's I just don't know if the problems are the problems. The problems are the problems, and the problem is the offensive line. And yes, you guys, everybody shits on me in the post game, bro. And then 2 days later, they be calling back up and then going, you know what? You were right, homie.
Nobody's done that.
Everybody does that. Everybody.
Nobody.
Sam Darnold. Look, Sam Darnold had a bad game.
Right.
Bad game.
He did.
And I'm not trying to excuse him. I think his game was a bad game. I think the offensive line, which had a just as bad or worse game, that's their game. That's their game every week. That's the problem. Is Sam Darnold had a bad week, like where you're like, oh my God, missing thing, not doing his part. I believe in 2 weeks he could have a great game. I think what we saw from this offensive line is their game. That's where I'm trending down on. I don't think it can be fixed that much. It might be improved by like a little skinny bit, but it ain't gonna be great anytime soon, bro.
I mean, listen, it depends on what we're talking about. I feel like for a lot of Panther fans, and look, y'all know y'all can trust me to keep it a buck with you and be honest, right? We're all fighting this feeling. Yeah, that's what you come here for, man. Cody spits these honest bars at you, and you're going to take them like medicine. But at the end of the day, they're healing words, baby. They're healing words. And listen, right now, all of Panther Nation is having to wrestle with this feeling. Are we a fraud? Were we buying into the hype? Did we purchase the snake oil? Did we fall for another third year in a row of a Panthers gotcha where we start the season on fire only to turn around and shit the bed, Tony Dunn? That's what we're wondering about this football team. And listen, one of the things that we know is that this offensive line has not been good. It was not good against Dallas. It was not good this past Sunday against Philadelphia, and Sam Darnold had his worst performance. Right. And listen, no one's gonna say that Sam. I mean, Greg wants to have some words about Sam, and I look forward to hearing what that is. But another part of this is it's really hard to play the quarterback position at a high level when you have no protection. and when you're afraid of the blitz and when things are just going terrible, it's like a domino effect. And right now we're all being confronted with, man, if this is the best our offensive line can be, then it's not a playoff team. We're not
the
a
best
team that
our
can make a
offensive
push.
line could be was maybe week 1. I don't know what the best it was. Our offensive line is worse than last year.
It is.
So I came on this podcast last year and said this is the last year. I said the offensive line is bad, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. Like, I mean, it was somewhat our mediocre bad. This offensive line this year has played tremendously worse.
Yeah.
And our coaches are not about to change it anytime soon.
It's not about changing. Like, what, you can't do nothing like that. Like, you're gonna sub in one chicken piece,
but
of, like
again,
one spoiled ass piece.
We
of
don't
meat for
even
another.
want to try Deontay Brown to put him out on the field. Again, here we go again. We're having the same exact conversation week in and week out. And you know what? Before we go into the Giants game, we'll probably be having the same conversation then. Oh, what are we going to do to fix the O-line? Now there's rumors that potentially Mitchell Schwartz from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, no.
Because they have depth that, the Panthers might could trade.
No,
they don't. They don't have any depth.
Playing. He's like he's hanging out with his girlfriend. CK, I'm gonna ask you a tough question right here.
All right, do it.
You're gonna be the mediator of this tough question.
All right.
I think Taylor Moton is hot take. Here comes hot take, Tony. I think Taylor Moton has been our best left tackle in like 3 years.
Yeah, I agree. And that thing is like, even
he
if
wasn't even good, and
he was average. If you look at PFF, he had 72. He was still our best offensive lineman. Everybody else was literally like PFF graded them.
They were awful, and
they
was
graded them as third stringers. Like, that's what it is. That's the problem. Like,
in his first game he ever played, not ever played, but started. He comes out there and he's like the most competent lineman.
Dude, I mean,
y'all.
I know.
Here's the problem, Cody. Here's the problem, Cody.
Cody's head to explode.
The thought with that is like, if he can get better, great. But a 92 rated Taylor Moton on the right is way better than a 72 rated Taylor on the left and a 42 Christensen on the right.
Good point.
That's the part that we need to figure out. If we don't have a replacement for Taylor, which right now Christensen is not showing that yet, which again, he is a rookie. That was his first game playing in that position that he's out of position already. I think personally, you need to bring Moton back to the right and keep and try to put Brady out on the left, because I think that makes way more sense. But yes, you're right. He is the best. He was the best offensive lineman, and he wasn't even good
in a while.
And he wasn't even good.
I don't want Cody's head to blow up too much here. I don't. But we got to give my man credit over there. We got to give him credit for this. Is that I don't even think that put Moton on the left permanently is the best idea. I'm 100 with CK here. Keep him on the right. Do this. But where Cody has been 100 right. Is that like, if this was what it was going to be at this point, we should have at least given him some time to practice at that position.
Yeah.
So the idea that this is why I was like, anybody who's trying to shit on Taylor Moton's and what he did at left tackle this week, I say F you guys, because the guy had to go in there at the last possible second and become the left tackle with the most limited time of ever practicing left tackle. And like Cody said, inevitably, this is where we're at. So you should have just... Anyway. Cody,
can I just say
here is your stage, sir.
But I just want to say the same thing that you just said, Tony, is also true of Brady Christensen. I genuinely believe that Brady Christensen is good enough, athletic enough, and young enough to be able to pick up all the proper technique necessary to play right tackle full time. But that's why I wanted to do this before the season even started, so that these growing pains could have happened against, say, the Jets instead of the Philadelphia Eagles
or in just
the
practice.
Dallas
How
Cowboys.
about that?
Yeah,
Maybe the
man.
growing pains just come in training camp.
They need repetition
Instead of trying them
practice.
at a guard, trying this and this stupid. And that's why I'm with CK, is keep Moten on the right. And maybe we should be trying Christensen at left tackle.
And I'm fine with that.
And
I
if
think we need to
not-
try. I think every week until you've got it,
But-
you need to be trying different positions. Like
But-
that's what we did in
3 weeks
2015.
ago.
We did that in
3 weeks ago,
2015
we
and
should have been doing
2014
that.
as well. We did that in 2014 as well. Like if you look at that, the amount of starting offensive line, like the starting lineup was like 60 different lineup combinations we tried. And guess what? In 2015, we had a pretty damn good offensive line with the help of obviously Michael Orr, but still, like we were still in a pretty good position. And I think you need to test these guys out. Then you need to see what's going to be your best combination. Right now, our guards are absolute garbage. Daly, I thought he would be a solid stand-in. He is garbage. I don't know if you guys watched his, like how many times pressure came through and how many times he didn't even touch the fucking defender. Like that's a problem. And that can be coached out of him. But like this guy's been playing long enough to know that that's not something you do. Right. So I do agree that Brady needs to be in there. I do agree that Deontay Brown needs to be in there. But I also agree that they should probably play their most comfortable position, and that is Brady over on the left side.
All right, let's go to the stat daddy who's here to tell us how. What are your thoughts 2 days later, and then we're going into our show that we've organized. But tell us, stat daddy, are we right or are we wrong? Is this offensive line atrocious? Yes, it is.
Oh, of course it is. Y'all are absolutely right about that. There's no question at all. You got to back up. Cody been saying it for a while, and we've all recognized the offensive line's been bad. I do want to touch on the moving people around until we find the right combo. I don't think it works really that well with offensive line. Like I get it, we did it in 2015, but has it worked any other time? I mean, like if anything else you did it one out, and it worked 1 out of 10 times. Would you continue to do it?
I don't know if we've ever tried it.
Well, I mean. That's kind of what we said we've been doing, though, is just moving pieces around. I think that when pieces then they can gel together, they do a whole lot better. The problem is we just don't have any talent. I think that's the bottom line. We just don't have talented players.
Now
I watch them get bull rushed.
Now we're talking like moving around parts.
Yeah, I feel like if there was a 600-pound rock,
you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Right. I think that's honestly our biggest thing. It's not a matter of, the right people.
Like if you move the left guard and the right guard over, they still suck a dick.
But the problem here is like the to play devil's advocate here is the pieces that they did move, they moved them into the complete opposite direction they should have been.
Yeah.
Like that's Brady.
All right.
Like even though Cody has known that, like I know that his mindset is like he believed this was going to happen because of the way that the coaching staff treated it earlier in the off season, right? He knew that was coming. But I also think that Cody can probably agree that was a stupid decision to put Moten on left tackle and Brady on right tackle when Brady has mainly played left his entire career and Moten has only played right tackle his entire career, college and high school.
Mm-hmm.
My honest assessment is I think that both could do both. And I know that's not the answer that people might want to hear, but I think if given enough time, and Taylor Moten knew that he had to dedicate himself to playing left tackle. I've seen other tackles make that transition before. People say, yeah, it's like doing, writing. If you're right-handed, then going to write with your left hand. People make that comparison. I understand. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do. I think Taylor Moten could do it. To the opposite effect, though, I also think that it's dumb as hell that our coaches have this dumb thing about arm length. And I do think that Brady Christensen at some point should have been given a shot to at least compete at his natural position at left tackle. I don't think it's a mistake to play them at those two different spots. Real quick, can I just tell you what my biggest fear going forward is? And I've been consistent in saying it, is that our coaches are too bullheaded, that they have too much of an ego, that even if they did have more than chicken shit to make chicken salad with, that we wouldn't know it because they're burying them behind worse players. And to me, if that's the scenario, that does not speak
do you
very
believe that's
good
the
of our
case?
coaches.
Do you really believe that's the case?
I'm not going to lie, Tony. I really kind of do.
You're starting to get there?
You want me, can I play you this clip of
all right, let's go.
Of Matt Rule? Yeah, let me. So this is Matt Rule. First, this is Matt Rule being asked a question about Deontay Brown, and well, I'll just let you hear it for yourself.
He was active for the first time this game. He's doing a good job. He's lost a bunch of weight. He's he's in much better shape than he was when we first got him. I think, he was in the 355 range, maybe even 360 at one point. He's down in that 335 range. So he's getting better and better. And, he's a guy that will continue to compete to get on the field.
He also likes the color red and drives a Prius and his favorite vacation spot.
That man didn't say a single fucking thing about Deontay Brown. It was he lost some weight and is continuing to compete to get himself into the line. What does that mean, Matt? Either tell me that he's not far enough along to actually play the position and you don't yet trust him there, or play him. But that you're not answering any questions about Deontay Brown at a moment in time when this Panthers offensive interior line is some of the worst that we have ever seen. And that's the only answer that he can give about Deontay Brown when everyone in Panther Nation has been screaming, wanting to see this young man. It's answers like that that really annoy the fuck out of me, Tony. He finds ways to say a bunch without saying anything at all. And if we're giving credit, I'm giving credit to the Bat Daddy. Bat Daddy has been saying that for a long time on the show. And it's just kind of starting to annoy me, man. He also got into I can play that clip as well if you want. Matt Rule got into more hot water about basically putting all of the blame pretty much on our defense in spite of our offensive performance. Would you like to hear that clip as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Roll it.
Let's do it. Oh, good old Matt Rule.
Or Rat Mule.
Rat Mule. So this is what he had to say in reference to our offense and our defense.
They're like, hey, defense played well. It's 2 weeks in a row now. The defense had a chance to stop the opponent and get the ball back, to go down and score, and we weren't able to do it defensively. So, really, just a disappointing day. I know a lot of questions are going to be about the offense.
The defense. So when we come down to it, I don't know. I feel like that's the same thing Ron Rivera did here. He almost knows his offense at this moment. Robby Anderson mad on the sideline. Mm-hmm. The offensive line sucks. You know what? Darnold had a bad day. People are now talking about, is Brady any good? We can't score in the third quarter. This and that. I feel like that maybe Matt Rule knows that his offense is tender-headed. He can't run the brush through that girl's hair that hard. If you got girls, you know what I'm saying, like, or long hair.
You got
there's some people that be crying and stuff because you're running the brush through their hair. They're tender-headed. He knows that his offense is tender-headed right now. And his defense is some blistered ass, and these got some calluses on their hands. They motherfucker, they know what they're doing. He knows that Phil Snow ain't gonna go home crying after he said that. Right. I mean, he threw. Now, the problem though is that it's just blatantly not right to say that.
Not at all.
Because the defense scored a safety. They should, our biggest criticisms about the defense is that they didn't get a touchdown. Instead, they got a safety. Mm-hmm. Oh, assholes. Right.
But
Oh, wait. You threw an interception on the 29-yard line in the first 5 minutes of game or whatever it was. Then we actually did get bailed out. We got bailed out, and it was a good call, I guess. If they threw the interference flag on the very thing. Like, this could have been a 10-10 game while we were up 10-3.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it wasn't just like our defense just knocked these mugs out of the park, but our offense straight sucked. They turned the ball over in the beginning. Like they put the defense in some tough situations. And going into that third quarter again, I felt like defense played very strong.
Yep.
The offense, yeah, maybe. But like, you don't throw the defense on the bus.
And that's what everyone feels.
It's like the worst problem is not the defense,
by a large margin, by the way.
It's like not even close.
By listen, if anybody were to watch that game, like here's the thing that's interesting is a lot of people were talking about how if we didn't allow that punt block to happen, and honestly, if you watch that punt block, there's a lot like that dude got so lucky. Like that's like it just felt like everything was falling against the Carolina Panthers. And even if we had punted that away, held them off, and was able to come away with the win, do you think our attitudes are any different than they are right now? Nope.
The offense blew it, man.
Yeah.
And look, it wasn't just the offensive line. Yes, the offensive line sucked. But Sammy D missed a lot of like maybe 4 or 5 passes that I could point out to you on the tape right away. That was like, nope. Like they were there. He didn't get them. And that's not even me trying to be the cool guy where he's like, he could have thrown that one or this one. Like he threw it wide there. He threw it, he could have thrown more. Like I'm just talking about the ones he straight missed on. Right? Like he missed and like he had his worst day. The offensive line had their worst day. The special teams had their worst day.
Yep.
And yet
Matt Rule try to tell me that the defense
take a hot shit on our defense.
Right.
Dude,
well, when he makes that comment, he says they had a chance to stop him and get the ball back. Well, I could have seen plenty of times the offense had a chance to score and they didn't do it.
You want to know what I would say if I were Matt Rule? Going into the half, we got a safety. The offense got the ball back. We had an opportunity to flip that score an extra 9 points and not even let them come back. But like we let them come back and get a field goal at the end of that half. Keep that in mind because we gave the ball back to our offense and they went 3 and out and punted it right back to the Eagles. Right? Yep. There's only so much that can happen in that. Like a lot of people were mad that they weren't able to get that touchdown. If our offense was even partially competent, then we would have actually been better off getting that and getting a touchdown before half instead of giving them the ball back or letting them drive down. So it would have been better had they actually been able to do anything. And especially with the short field, you guys keep in mind, free kicks from a safety give us a pretty decent field position and we still couldn't do shit with it. Yeah. So absolutely. Like if I'm Matt Rule, I'm talking about how that happened instead of just talking about how the defense could have stopped the offense. Yeah, the defense did stop the offense, but the offense that we have couldn't give the defense a fucking break.
The problem is we play too different whenever we're ahead and whenever we're behind. Like whenever we're behind or the game is really close, we play in a hurry up offense and we play a lot better because it doesn't give the defense as much time to rest. It doesn't give them time to change people out. It's the way most teams play the game now. We get ahead by 7-9 points and we start to play like we're ahead by 21. And then we never get ahead by 21. And when it's
I know the timeouts, man. The time management, it's horrible. The pace, it's all infuriating. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast. The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. You can leave a message, be a part of the show. We'll play it live in just a few minutes. Subscribe, smash the thumbs up button. Cody, the storyline right now, let's get finally 30 minutes into the show. Now we execute the plan. We're the opposite of the Carolina Panthers. Our third quarter is the best, bro.
Yeah, dude.
John Gruden is in trouble. Chucky resigned. The news breaks. I don't know. How do you want to introduce this? For me, is the reason I put in this the name of the show, the Brady Bunch, and I am working on a thumbnail because I was watching all these videos on YouTube about how your thumbnail needs to be better than your content, basically. So I'm working on the Brady Bunch. I was working on it. Like I said, I had to restart my computer out of stupid things. Anyway, I got this cool Brady Bunch thumbnail I'm working on where I'm going to put all the offensive linemen. I got little Joe Brady up in there. You know what I'm saying? All this cool stuff. But the reason I put this up is John Gruden's fired or resigns in like kind of a 48-hour fashion. Ed Ogeron, the LSU coach that we know from the great picture of him with his like 20-year-old girlfriend. He's the head coach that wins the national championship just 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago, tops. He's likely on the hot seat. Now, Joe Brady, his name is kind of linked to both of these storylines for various reasons. Gruden, Chucky. I don't know how you want to handle this conversation. Is this about Joe Brady on this podcast? Is it about John Gruden and AOL emails?
I think it's important we talk about both.
So right now, Joe Brady is one of the odds-on favorites.
No,
like he's at like minus -7.
What job?
The Raiders job. He's at minus 750 or something like that.
Insane.
And really, this has gotten me
thinking.
thinking. It's gotten me thinking even more about Joe Brady. And what did I say about this football team before the season started? That everyone had a shitload to prove, right? And even Joe Brady, like going back and thinking about it, my man had one season, and he wasn't even the full-time offensive coordinator. He was third down in red zone. That's what Joe Brady's job that year for the LSU Tigers
now he's
was.
Speaking our language, Greg. Now he's starting to talk like
I'm painting out the entire picture, right? That, yes, was it one of the best offensive seasons that a football team has ever produced? Yes. But did they also have Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall Jr., Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and a bunch of other premium players on that football team? Yeah, they did. Right? And you know what? This entire time, you're right, Tony. I've given Joe Brady a large portion of the credit for orchestrating that LSU football team. But it's 2021. He is no longer a coordinator for the LSU Tigers. He is the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. And when your offensive line is struggling as much as it is more than fair for all of us to sit here and say that we have been underwhelmed by his play calling, especially in that third quarter, man. He continues to lay an egg, get very conventional, run a lot of running plays right up the A and B gap. It just doesn't make a lot of sense that the man continues to be a name that is still apparently coveted very highly, man. You have heard his name already. And again, when I say floated, I'm talking about on Twitter and just people in the media in general bringing up names
linked.
that might be
linked.
Yeah,
his name has been linked. Let's look. It's like, I mean, we don't know. We're not anywhere close to the point of these names like being interviewed.
Right?
Yeah. But the names immediately come up by people that aren't us. Yeah. How about that? Let me say this about Brady is that y'all the problem, or not the problem, my stance with Brady has been this, is that that people sold him immediately. They wanted him to be the next Sean McVay or whatever, like this super brilliant dude where he is more valuable than a normal offensive, like even a average to good coordinator. Like he is a extra piece
because he had one season under Sean Payton.
Right. Like they wanted these storylines to exist or to be true. And you know what is I hoped Joe Brady was going to be some sort of guy, some sort of like master chess player, like what do they call the super chess players?
Savants.
No, yeah, they're savants, but the grandmaster. Like I wanted him to be a grandmaster of offense that sort of like revolutionized the game. Sure, I would hope, and everybody would hope he was going to be that. But people, because they wanted him to be that, thought that that was the case. Like, I mean, like you said, is that he had never had the full responsibility entirely. Yeah, like we linked him to this crazy great offense in LSU. We linked him to Sean Payton, and people wanted him to be the next Wonder Boy or whatever. And I will give Joe Brady credit for this, as I think he has been adequate as an offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. I think he's done well as in taking over the full responsibilities. Like imagine what it would be like for you, your first year on the job, in a big role that you are suited for in a way. But like, let's not act like we all just walk on the job and all of a sudden we revolutionize our job position or whatever. I think he has been adequate, and I would say better than average. Like, I don't think he's been a hindrance to us. There are some serious questions, and that is, why the fuck is this third quarter so problematic? But I don't think when I look at his play calling, I don't think this offense looks unprepared. I don't think it looks out of sorts. I don't think I think it's been like, it's a little bit of everything. It's a bad offensive line. It's at times poor execution, and at times things just ain't going right. But I'm not ready to say that Joe Brady sucks, but I'm also not ready to hire him as my head coach.
Sure. And the way that I like to be fair about this is I think that Sam Darnold and Joe Brady would both look much better than they currently are if they had some semblance of protection and good run blocking. And
I would look better if I had a bigger dick.
That's how shit in my wish in one hand, shit in the other, and
no, of course. They just don't have either. They don't have that, Cody.
Look, and
they don't have a better line, so it can't be ifs and what ifs and if my aunt. You tell them.
We still can't get this.
if my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle. But you might get canceled for saying that today. So
yeah,
maybe I should pull that one back.
Before got canceled. By the way, Gruden got canceled. Maybe we should segue to that.
Yeah. You went to the Gruden thing?
Yeah, to talk about it, because I think we're in. I would like to at least speak on it. Not that I am,
I know. I can't wait to hear about
this role model, but listen, there's a couple of pieces to this. Number one, John Gruden handled this the absolute worst possible way he could have fucking handled it. Period.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
First, I haven't followed a lot of it.
I haven't either. Yeah.
So basically,
the first thing I heard was is that there was an email that came out where he said the dude's lips were the size of tires. And then he name branded, and Michelin was like, "Don't be talking about us, but talk about us, please."
Right. Basically, to put it into perspective, that came out, and it was like I said, it was insensitive. I don't necessarily read that and think inherently racist on that comment. And there were people coming out to defend him, and then John Gruden.
You didn't say trope 9,000 times when you read it.
Right. I didn't personally feel that way. Was it disrespectful and just in poor taste? Absolutely. And should a coach of even though at that point in time he wasn't a coach, he wasn't employed by the NFL, all this stuff, period.
ESPN.
It was ESPN at that time. But the thing is, his email started to be gone through due to something that had nothing to do with this, by the way. Like this, but you know that your emails are being read, and your first response to this is, "I'm not talking about it anymore. I addressed it with my team. I didn't intend that in a racist manner. I'm not racist at all. All this stuff." Like, and he said, "I'm not talking about it anymore." Right? Instead of saying, "Listen, there's going to be some shit that probably come out even more than this on these emails, and I want to be the first to get out in front of it. I want to apologize for that shit. That was 10 years ago, and I was a completely different person. We were in a different world at that point, even though not that different, but it was still slightly different. And
That wouldn't have made it any better.
It wouldn't have, but it would have made him much less of a fucking asshole. I'll tell you that much.
He thought there was only one. First of all, he had one email that came out. He was like, "Motherfucker, why did I send this shit?"
No, not one.
He didn't no, the first email came out in the news, like about the tires.
Exactly.
It's like, and he was like, "Oh God, and think about this is like, would you remember?" Then all of a sudden, like 90 emails come out late. Like it was like, God. Mugs, they had the whole email account, and I forgot about all this crap that
it's
we were
over 600.
And who sends emails like that?
It's over 650,000 emails. And by the way, if John
not
Gruden,
of his, not his,
no, that were having to do with him that he was a part of. It was between him and the Washington football team. The Allen,
not that.
That's
many.
what.
That seems a bit extreme.
You just said you haven't been following the conversation.
I don't believe that.
They said that there were that many of them. But hold on, Tony.
I can't even delete.
No, Tony,
that many
you need to
emails.
listen to me. This is what the story was too. If he hadn't have resigned, they were going to continue to release more and more damning emails of shit that this guy had said. And this is my take on the John Gruden thing. You had to fire this guy. You absolutely had to. And let me tell you why. You're the head coach. You're the leader of men. Okay, it's your job to inspire a football team to go out there and give their all and play in a football game where they're taking 50 plus small car crashes to their head every single time that they play. If your head coach is supposed to be your leader and you have teams in that locker room that are always thinking, well, damn, what is this motherfucker saying about me behind my back? You know, Carl Nassib was, Carl Nassib, the guy that came out as gay, he was on the Raiders. And apparently this dude is dropping F-bombs all the time too. Like, it wasn't just in emails. Apparently that this is a part of this guy's vernacular. When you're around him, there was this thing around him. Like, you were always afraid that whenever John Gruden was not in front of you, that he was saying something behind your back.
Slur too?
Yeah, and all kinds of shit. Or
not two people.
Not two people.
Dude, if you have to fire someone in that position, or else
I'm not saying he should. Look, I think him resigning.
I think for your organization,
bro, this is a sleight of hand right now. First of all, the 685,000 number is ridiculous.
That's 1,780 emails a day.
Yeah,
if you did it over a year, that's 1,780 emails a day.
I have Gmail. I don't delete. Like, if you have a Gmail account, you don't have to delete your email, right? And like, you can go back and look at the trash emails like that. Everybody, like, you get the subscribe, like your Tractor Supply. Like, so I'm gonna have 9,000 Tractor Supply emails in my my email might have 10,000 in it right now. I've never deleted it. 680,000 is ridiculous.
Yeah, 1,700 a day. That's 74 an hour.
Much. So I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
And all people be sending
number two is this. I think this is that. Look, I'm not disputing what he said. Wait, I don't even care about what you guys think about it. It almost feels like this is that these emails came out in a investigation about the Washington football team and their culture. And now John Gruden's the guy resigning. Oh, wait a second. The whole investigation was about the Washington football team, all of this, where they're resigning most.
They have.
That's all I'm saying is I don't care about John. I mean, like, we can talk about what John Gruden's doing this. Sleight of hand. John Gruden, the sacrificial lamb here for all, like, what? Oh, he was, and who sends emails like this? Like, who
people
really,
that are
like,
over
dude,
50
like,
years
out of
old
all
now?
the things, like, we
Yeah,
talk
old
shit
dudes.
about everybody on the internet, right? Like, everybody in the chat room, everybody
Right.
in this, but like, was like, I feel like, what was his email, a Yahoo account? Was it did he AOL messenger these motherfuckers? Like, who emails like this back and forth about, like, oh, it's like my grandpa, which my grandpa's been dead for like 15 years, but like, it's like my grandpa sending nudie pictures to Bruce, what's his name? The guy that was the VP of Washington.
Bruce Allen.
You know
And
what's
they're
funny?
next too.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like, I mean, I'm
next
sorry. Like, it's
on
like,
the
we're
hit
kind of
list.
ridiculous. It's like, oh, your email. Somebody put in the chat room, they were like, maybe he should call Hillary. Again, that was the funniest shit I've seen. Like,
Right. I heard something that was even
Emails.
funnier. They said after this, 32 owners called their IT department immediately. Just like,
yeah, it was like,
Delete everything.
purge it, bro.
I
Purge
know.
it.
All of a sudden, the damn Texans are suing Google.
Right.
We need to get that shit protected. Do you all right? Do you really believe that this is just Gruden being this crazy shithead?
No, I think it's a culture thing. You got to keep in mind, like, he grew up in the fucking, this is football. It's hard fucking, work. You 3-a-days and all this bullshit.
So
it's ingrained in his personality, I feel like. And I don't necessarily think that he did it with like this intention of like, I'm this like I'm a racist and I'm a homophobe or all this, anything. I don't personally believe that anybody, and there are people, the majority of people are not like that. But I think you and I both know when we were in high school, when we were in middle school, like, we all said some stupid shit, every one of us. And we all went along with some stupid shit, every one of us. And like, if we were to go back in time, we were like, yeah, that's not how I really felt. But it was like, in the time, everybody was talking like that. And like, it was fun. It was just, talking with the boys and all this stuff. Is it wrong? Absolutely. And should he have been absolutely fired? 100%. I think it was very stupid.
Well,
to
he
do that.
resigned.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he came
He
out
was
and
gonna get
straight
fired.
resigned.
Yeah.
And,
But Tony,
he got ahead of this, but I just feel like it's so easy to trash on him because we know his name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, if we are this upset about what was happening, then we need to be talking about the people who were receiving and responding to these emails as well.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
there's going to be more repercussions for a lot of different people that are going to come out of this. Everybody's already talking about the Washington football team.
It's going to pass over. Like,
the NFL has been looking for a
bro.
reason to get rid of Dan Snyder for fucking 10 years.
No,
now.
they have not.
That's why they have all these emails, Tony.
They've been looking for reasons to keep them.
They want
Dude,
Bezos, dude. They want Jeff Bezos to own an NFL team. And if that means finding a bunch of shit about Dan Snyder, they're already doing it, man. That's why these emails were even uncovered to begin with.
Jerry Richardson gave his heart so that these owners could have their black hearts stay in this. You know what I'm saying, Matt? I'm telling you guys, this is going to pass over. So
I agree with you.
It's a fart in the wind or whatever. Whatever the analogy is this. John Gruden resigned. This mug wasn't even a coach or in the NFL at the time. He was working for ESPN. Is ESPN doing an internal investigation about their culture right now? Nope. This is John Gruden saying, I'm resigning. I was a little old for this and getting a little fat in the belly. We all saw it. Man, he was the fattest. He's getting real fat on that sideline. And he said, I'm out. this is not about them punishing the Washington football team.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done that earlier. The whole investigation was about the Washington football team, and now John Gruden's the guy that's getting kicked out of the NFL.
But dude, he hit a grand slam. He offended gay people, black people, women, and he went out to protest too. Like, this dude made sure that all of his fucking cancel bases were 100% covered, dude.
Exactly.
Listen, but this would be my last thing I'll say about it. I really don't give too much of a fuck about him, to be honest. I think that if you heard Keyshawn Johnson ever talk about him, that dude has been saying for years that he thinks John Gruden is a phony and a fraud and a piece of shit. So I really don't feel bad for Gruden. But the reason we brought it up is to connect it to the Joe Brady talk. And I just, I think that John Gruden is done for his career. No matter what you think about it, that's 100% John Gruden is never coming back. And does it open up some opportunities for Joe Brady? I would say no. I don't think he is ready for that.
Right.
But again, man,
all right, hold on. We're going to get to the Joe Brady thing. The last thing I want to say about Gruden is for the Keyshawn joint in the fraud is it is interesting that his Super Bowl ring, he left his team in Oakland, or what were they? The LA Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, whatever they were at the time. It was like he left the Raiders, then went and took over the Buccaneers, played the Raiders, and it felt like it happened in like the middle of the season too. It was like so strange. It was like the weirdest, but like then he played his old team. He took over Tony Dungy's team. So it's not like John Gruden raised the Buccaneers franchise.
Didn't he play in the Super Bowl that year?
Yeah, they played each other.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was like John Gruden went and coached the super team. Like the team was already built, was awesome. Like it was already there. Like he left the Raiders. I think they traded for.
I was gonna say, I think he was traded. Yeah, he was a coach that got traded that year.
Weird. Yeah, it was just so weird. But it wasn't like Gruden built the franchise up from scratch.
Did you guys see where he was removed from the Bucs Ring of Honor?
I did hear that. Do you think that's a little?
Warren Sapp is trending because he's had all these different charges of domestic violence and prostitution and sexual assault.
Thing. Do you remember
he's still in the Ring of Honor
for the girls at the NFL? He worked at NFL Network.
Yeah,
and he bought them like all vibrator. And he's like, "Here, I bought you a gift," and it was like a vibrator.
Dude, everybody's hypocrites when it benefits them, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But listen, before we go any further, listen, CK, you already know this, man. Our chat room has a very specific kind of fetish, and we aim to please over here at the C3 Podcast. So, why don't you give them smooth windpipes you got, brother?
Subscriber shame, mother.
He brought something different this week.
107 people watching. 51 people have hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up button, man. If you love what we're saying, if you hate what we're saying, hit the thumbs down, man. Just interact with the podcast, man. We're continuing to pump out this Panther content. We hope you enjoy it. Hit the like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for every single time we go live. Hey, man. Sometimes we got to spread that subscriber shame, man.
It's free.
It's
just
free.
Hit the thumbs up button. Comment, subscribe. We've been crushing subscribers, at least in my mind. I try not to look at other people's channels. I try not to look at like crazy YouTube. Is that we just each and every week for the last 9 years. 9 years, I think, 2013. Every Tuesday night, get up here and chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions. We're trying to build a community of friends and people. And you know what? Is half the people in this chat room and on this podcast have barely met in person. but they are some of my best friends. We're building that community every Tuesday night. Cody, what else do we got to talk about before we get in the cat calls? Don't worry, you can be a part of the show. You can smash the thumbs up button. It's free. Again, I'll shame you. You can call in at 252-228-5098. You can check us out on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. The day after, syndicate that. What else is there to talk about? I feel like Joe Brady. Oh, we didn't mention this. Is that his name? We were talking about the Gruden joint, but Ed Ogeron on the hot seat, just because he's kind of like he's like the water boy. He's like the guy from Waterboy, like he's got that voice where you can't, like, you barely understand what he's saying.
My name is Ed Ogeron. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
I eat crawfish heads for breakfast. That type of thing.
My wife made the crawfish head too fast last night. It was actually pretty good. I really liked it. Actually, like that. It was actually pretty good. Go Tigers.
Exactly. That's the exact thing. So he is under fire and duress because he had a great season. I mean, he only won a national championship with his team just 3 years ago. So, I mean, gosh, the hot seat is here. But every week people want to fire him, number one. Number two, they're losing. Number three, he said, like, I was really surprised. I was really surprised about their run attack. And then everybody got on him because the only thing the opponent does, they play Kentucky? And they're like only a run team. So it's like, I was surprised about the run. They're like, what do you mean you were surprised? Like, that's all you saw coming in.
We didn't really do any films.
We thought they were going to run the football. And we really tried to make sure that they didn't run the football, but overall, they run the football pretty damn good. I gotta say so much of them. They did a pretty good job. Go Tigers.
Exactly. So now Joe Brady's name, because he was with the LSU team, and obviously their offensive coordinator, passing attack, whatever person. So Joe Brady's name, we talked about Gruden, link there, LSU. Joe Brady sucks in the third quarter. Is he going to be our offensive coordinator? Do you want him to leave? And does it matter?
I mean, listen. Again, I'm not ready to. I'm not ready to ship any of these guys off yet. Like, I know everybody's ready to be done with Sam Darnold and throw him in the trash and move on. And Joe Brady too. And I have my meaningful criticisms of him as well. But again, I want them to have the rest of the season, a full 17-game season, to see what they can do. And then at the end of this year, I'm not opposed to moving on from everybody if that's what needs to happen. Now, will that happen? No, we all know better than that. But I mean, Joe Brady has essentially the rest of this year to prove that he can mount an offense that is effective. And it's tough to do when you have no pass protection. Sam has no time to throw the football. I think there have been some times, especially throughout 5 weeks now, that he has called some good plays. We just have to continue to find that rhythm. And it's easy to hold a magnifying glass over all the bad things when things are going bad. And they're going bad, but I would preach a little bit of patience. If I'm Joe Brady, to me, going back to LSU, that's a step backward. Why do you want to be a recruiter and always have to get phone calls about, oh, this such and such student didn't show up for class, or, oh, such and such, their grades are slipping, or whatever? No, now you get to be in a professional space where you get to be around professional football players. And I mean, anything other than what he's doing now, if it's not a head coaching position, it's a step backward. So right now, he's in a good spot, man. You're young, stay here, hone your craft, get better, and then figure this shit out. But right now, he doesn't need to be in conversation for anything other than being the offensive coordinator of the Panthers this week against Minnesota.
100% agree with you right there, man. He hasn't done anything to make me want to get rid of him, but he also hasn't done anything to make me brag about him.
Yep.
The guy's just he's been middle of the road the whole time. Had some impressive stuff, some really not impressive stuff. There are things I want to see him work on, but there is one thing for sure, like you said, Cody, he damn sure has not done anything to qualify him being a head coach. There are a ton of guys that should be a head coach ahead of him. Not saying he can't do it one day, but he ain't there yet.
Sure.
I don't think he's close.
What's the bigger stretch or surprise is that if he was the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders next year or the head coach of the LSU Tigers? When I say stretch or surprise, not what you expect to happen, but like what position, if he was to get either of those positions, which of the two does he most deserve? I guess is the way I'm saying it. It's like, which one would you, if you could magically put him in the right position, and those were the only two options, which one is the one? Would he be a better head coach in the NFL or a better college head coach at LSU?
Neither of them, man. Like, dude,
He hasn't proved anything.
If I was a fan of LSU,
But then why is his name with all of this
Raiders,
every time? He had 5 head coaching interviews
because he won a national title in a year they broke a record for a high-powered offense. Had he been on any other team that year, you would not know his name. Had they had a different quarterback that year, you would not know his name. That's all there is to it.
I mean,
he wrote a really good team.
He was the passing game coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing about it. Like, I was even ecstatic when he came, because I think not only did the media, but I think everybody that, even the LSU Tigers overplayed what Brady did for them. Like, he was an offensive coordinator. Like, he wasn't the coordinator. He was the passing game coordinator. He basically skipped about 17 different job positions and got an offensive coordinator. Like, he should have, he missed, like, he basically got accelerated very quick. And we can, and everybody in the chat has said this multiple times, we can give Joe Burrow a big high five for doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I heard what my boy Clip Brock, you can listen to him on Pirate Radio 1250 92.7 in Greenville. He's a Redskins fan, and they've been talking about the Gruden stuff, the Washington. He's all this. Or I said Redskins fan. He's a Washington football team fan, and he hates what's the guy, the Bruce
Arians?
Something. No, Washington football team. The guy that's with the Gruden mess.
Bruce Allen.
Bruce Allen. And what they say about him is that he was born on third base. So, like, he was already in an advanced position, ready to score the whole. And so that they say he was born on third base and lived on third base. Like, he don't like. So he's born in a great spot, but
he was
never
a trust fund
advanced.
Child. Never had to work.
Kind of like, I
anything.
mean, he's been in 19 years in the NFL as a VP and ain't done shit.
Yeah, hasn't done.
And the idea that what you guys are saying is kind of Brady was born on second base, like a little too quick.
Yeah.
Again, my question is which one would be the overshoot? If he was announced as the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders next year, or the LSU Tigers, which one would you be more like is the overshoot?
The Raiders, obviously.
The Raiders, yeah, just because it's a professional football team. At least him being 31, 32, you can kind of see him coaching younger college athletes. Again, I wouldn't want to do that, man. People don't realize.
I think coaching in the NFL would be easier than coaching college.
I disagree.
In some facets, yeah, I agree with you, Tony. Just because you have to deal with a lot of bullshit. One, you're always recruiting. Part of being a
right,
coach,
it's all about the recruit game and how good is your school at the recruit game.
100%.
Is that we're talking about the Carolina Panthers not being a great free agent destination. right? It's like, oh, people don't want to come here because their car dealership ads don't pay as much. And then Cody's over there going, we got the best schools. We got Charlotte's a great place to live. This type of stuff.
It is, man.
That's all you got to worry about. But if we're trying to do a school versus school, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you have to recruit, man. You have to recruit. You have to out-recruit SEC football.
You don't recruit in the NFL.
You have to recruit. No, but I'm saying in college.
That's
if
right.
you're
I
the
agree.
head,
I'm with you. I think
if you're the head coach, like someone made this point, and I forget who it was in context to like the difference between Urban Meyer and Matt Rule. When you're the head coach at Ohio State, you are always in the living room of some high school prospect trying to convince them to come to Ohio State. Whereas, yeah, Matt Rule had to do that kind of stuff, but never to the level of like a Power 5 program like an Ohio State. And Joe
he
Brady
was always selling his personality in those living rooms, right? Like he doesn't. That's not a burden you have.
And Joe Brady has none of that to stand on yet.
And right, you're right. Is that I think it would be easier for him to just mentally try to dominate the NFL than it would be. All right, so Urban Meyer in all the trouble, another coach in trouble for all this crap, whatever. But what the thing about that I heard about Urban Meyer is like when he walked into the living room with the family and he had his little entourage, there's like this aura that came in. And so you're already like, oh, it's Coach Urban Meyer. I want to be with this guy, right? In the NFL, you don't get that. Like the Urban Meyer aura is not as cool. It doesn't actually is non-existent. It's not even an aura. Like we're actually like this. I make more money than you, motherfucker. So you sit down in my beautiful ass chair. Right. So I don't think the NFL is about the personality of the coach as much in recruiting players. So if Joe Brady is a mastermind, if he is the brilliant person, I think would be easier for him to succeed in the NFL than it would for him to go to college and all of a sudden try to be like this. What? I'm the smart coach. I'm the young smart coach that you want to come play for. Yeah, our facilities are dope as fuck. Ohio is dope as fuck too.
Yeah. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Recruiting is tough. And you know what is recruiting at LSU is easy as fuck. So I don't want to hear nothing about that either. So I will say that why don't you come and be the head coach at ECU and see what happens? Go sit in that living room and be like this. I'm an offensive genius, motherfucker. And then we got this busted ass facility where nobody shows up.
Pretty much. Yeah. And that's why Matt Rule is actually in a good position. But
right.
Here we
Matt
are.
Rule did it with the busted ass facilities.
Yeah, he did it at Baylor, which I guess Baylor's kind of a big school.
No, they had like 20 scholarships revoked from them because the coach.
Yeah, their coach was. He was like giving out hookers and on recruiting.
What else do you gotta do? That's what you do in college.
To come to Baylor.
That's why Urban Meyer's I don't know what to do in Jacksonville, bro. Like I thought we were gonna be way better than this.
Anything more you want to add to the Joe Brady thing?
No. What else we got?
So this man, I have to look
this
again.
Is great news.
6'7".
It's something like Augustus.
No, it's Austin Pleasant. 6'7", 328 pounds, previously from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And does this mean anything? Because to me,
what's his name?
And
who you didn't even tell us who he is and
yes,
what
I
he
did.
Is.
Austin Pleasance.
But who is he? What?
He's
what
a guard. He's a guard.
Why are we talking about?
He had been on our practice squad, and he is now. He has been signed to our practice squad. He's 6'7", 238 pounds. The reason I bring this up is right now it looks as though the Panthers are just trying to do anything to stop the hemorrhaging on our offensive line. They see all the stats that everybody reposts, and they know the analytics and the data that their offensive line is absolute trash right now. So they're going to try and bring in another body to throw in there to hope that they can compete. But again, man, play Deontay fucking Brown. I'm tired of being nice about this shit, dude. Play the big, badass motherfucker from Alabama that you drafted for this very reason. It's so infuriating that we're still talking about this, dude.
What if there's like a master plan, like a master 3-4 year plan where they're going to draft players and not play the good ones just so that way they can be just bad enough where they can get a good draft pick, but just good enough where they're showing improvement. And then all of a sudden, year 4, they start all the people they've drafted.
Well, hey, we're in
year... the woodworks, and we just explode.
It can't work that way.
You've been watching way too many.
We're in year 2 and
with
year 3.
An arc to them.
The
year
reason
3 is when Deontay Brown, or not Deontay. Year 3 is when Matt Rule is traditionally known to have his best year as a head coach. So
the first 2 years are not that great. It makes it easier. So
not just his best year, but like it's progressively good, and he turns his team into a contender. But the part is, we're also trading away picks for 1 year players like Stephon Gilmore. It's not like I would agree with that mindset if that trade didn't happen, which is telling me right now that there is no master plan beyond win today.
No, the Gilmore trade's going to get us moving up. All right, the Gilmore trade actually works into the master plan because if we do not re-sign him,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
A 5th round compensatory pick. So we traded a 6th round to get him. We can either keep him, then we lose a 6th round, or we could not re-sign him this year. We just rent him for a year. And then we get a 5th round pick. So we actually master plan up.
Yeah, you're right.
I
forgot about that part.
Master plan thing is that it's not true. There is not this crazy master plan when it comes to the offensive line. If it is a master plan, the offensive line master plan is that it's always written in a different language and nobody understands it.
It's written in some alien language.
It's like there's it's like the offensive line plan is it's unintelligible.
It's written in Elvish.
Yes, it's unintelligible, written in Elvish, and the other thing to add to that, to why there's no master plan, is there's only 1 pick in like the first 138 picks next year, right? So you get a first
Our draft
round
show
pick,
is going to be a little boring.
The draft show is going to be dope because it's only the first night.
Yeah, but it'll be the only pick.
There will be nobody asking, are you guys going to do a second night of the draft show? Nah.
Nope.
Hey, I'm calling it right now. Before the draft, Carolina makes some kind of huge splash to get a high 1st round pick. I'm talking like a Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore trade, something like that.
To get 2 1st round picks,
to get like a top 10 1st round pick. Carolina's
we're gonna have that
to trade them both for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Shush.
Hey, shout out to 89. Shout out to 89 J Stubbs, Slater, Creed, and Trey Smith. We could have got them all. Yeah, I won't even mention this to y'all. Trey Smith might be the best left tackle in the NFL in general. Rashawn Slater might just be the best left tackle in the NFL. Not the best rookie.
5 games. Bro.
Did you see what he did to Myles Garrett? Go watch. Go watch what he's done to every pass rusher. Did you see what he did to Chase Young? Did it again, too. We might have pretended. And again, listen, I think J.C. Horn's going to be lights out. But it is now a very real possibility that we
I cried when we picked J.C. Horn.
we're in such bad need of a left tackle, and it's a very real potential that we
or a
passed
left
on
guard,
what
or
could
a right
potentially be the
guard.
best
Like this,
left tackle in the NFL.
Well, look at it like this, man. We could have drafted because we picked up Henderson and Gilmore now. Okay. So we could have drafted an offensive lineman and still
or
ended up in the
two.
same position we are in right now with
two.
with J.C. Horn with a broken foot and Gilmore and C.J. Henderson back there. Like, could have been the exact same position.
So on Wednesdays we drop this show called Debate My Take, where Cody Lashney and myself go head to head on a series of topics. And last week we did, in retrospect, like where we're at, Slater, Horn. Tough conversation to have, especially when you see our live emotion on the draft show. Every year we get together, we hang out live in the first round of the draft. And every year that we do that, Tony Dunn will freak out at whatever pick we make, whether it's the best pick or the worst pick. I freak out. And I freaked out because we didn't pick an offensive lineman or Justin Fields in this one. And it wasn't a referendum on J.C. Horn at all. Like, it had nothing to do with him as a player. But Rashawn Slater was there, and our offensive line continues to be forsakenly and unintelligibly awful. So, what else we got to talk about before we move on to the cat calls?
Oh, man, the biggest thing that we have to talk about is Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac.
Is it happening?
Return of the Mac. You know I'd be back. Let me stop. Christian McCaffrey is set to come back. We don't know. He's listed as questionable right now, but everybody's pretty much assured. Christian himself or Matt Rule's talking how he's going to potentially be playing against the Minnesota Vikings. And yeah, man, I'm just listen. I thought that it was criminal that our offense depended so much on Christian McCaffrey. But, dude, especially knowing the last two games that we just went through, I'm just happy to have him back, man. I'm ready for Christian to come back. I think our offense, it really does run through Christian McCaffrey. He opens up so many other things on the football field. And I'm happy to have him back, man. My question to everyone is, what are your expectations for him? Do you think that now that we've seen a good amount of Chuba Hubbard, that they still try and give Chuba his, fair amount of snaps, try and run him a little bit, or do they kind of lighten Christian McCaffrey's load and ease him into it? What are we thinking?
I think it's an equal dose, because when you look at some of the most high-powered offenses, they usually don't have one back, right? They have two. You have Latavius Murray and Alvin Kamara back in the day when he was there, or Ingram and Kamara, or now Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. You typically have multiple options, and now even with the Vikings, if you guys want to talk about our next opponent, they have Dalvin Cook and what's the guy who's been playing in his stead and has actually been killing it, as well. They're going to probably split between those two guys. I think it's imperative when you have a running back that is as explosive as Christian McCaffrey is, being able to split those reps, I think will offer longevity for him, and also keep the opposing defenses on their heels.
Agreed. I think Christian McCaffrey, as much as I love the guy, he's so explosive. He's such a great player. I think he's a top 3 running back and a top 3 wide receiver as well. I honestly would start putting him like in the slot, maybe half the time that he's playing now. Like, line him up as a receiver. Chuba Hubbard can carry the ball just fine. Christian McCaffrey does way more damage in the passing game than he does on the ground. He's a very great runner, but he always has more passing yards than he does rushing yards. I just think to preserve his longevity and to, like TK was saying, kind of give the defense something different to look at, put him in the slot, man. He's one of the I think he might be one of the best receiver in the NFL if you give him the opportunity, to be truly honest with you. I think he has the best hands maybe ever through his tenure in the NFL.
God,
like, you have to look at it through like 4 years. Yeah, he's dropped like 3 passes, I think, in his career.
I mean, the catches he makes,
yeah,
he
insane.
makes are sick. Cody, what do you think? How about that?
Well, I think number one that I want to thank Robbie Bud for the $5. He said, "Appreciate you, C3, always keeping it real. Love you, Robbie. Glad that you can hang out with us, bro." Yeah, I'm pumped, man. I'm happy to have Christian back. Like I said, I didn't like that our offense was so dependent upon him, but now I'm just so ready for some kind of offensive production. I'm like, please come back, Christian, dude. I'm ready for this to happen. I'm hoping that he's healthy. I just want to see how long he stays healthy, because that's the question, right? And that's the question that none of us really want to have. We're all hoping that he's not an injury-prone running back like Saquon Barkley has kind of proven himself to be. So, we want to see Christian make a sustained run. And seeing him going back and forth with Dalvin Cook on the other side, yeah, this might be an old-fashioned smash mouth, run the football type of game. And frankly, I'm here for it, man. Take some of the pressure off of Sam and just run the football.
Well, go ahead and sit Chuba Hubbard in your fantasy leagues, which I've been starting him. I'm in this crazy dynasty league, so we got to pick people in these late rounds and trying to hope that they're going to become something great. I'm on the Super Bowl hangover myself. I won last year because I've had Alvin Kamara for the last 4 years in this keeper league as a 14th round pick. So I've picked Chuba Hubbard as a, what they call it, a handcuff or something like that. Like I picked him in the late rounds thinking, all right, maybe he can be this starting back if Christian McCaffrey goes down. And that happened. And you know what? He scored me some points in this fantasy football league. But am I going to put him in a flex? Am I even going to care about this guy for the next 2 years now that Christian McCaffrey is back? Nope. Probably this not. No offensive coordinator can resist the urge to play Christian McCaffrey every snap. They're not going to split it. They're not going to do anything like that. Is this just going to be Christian McCaffrey all day? Christian McCaffrey, and it's kind of like if you were calling the plays, you would do the same thing.
Can I make a bold prediction right here and something that we need to start talking about if this happens? If Christian McCaffrey gets injured again this year, we need to start talking about trading him while he still has supreme value. We can't build our offense around a player that's only on the field for 6 games a year. No matter how explosive he is, I love Christian McCaffrey, and I want him to work out and be
a trade a hurt player, though.
Man, he's missed a lot of time in the last 2 years now. Last year, he got injured. They came back for a game, then got injured again, without for the whole season.
He's going to come back. He's going to play 100,000 snaps.
I'm just saying.
It ain't going to matter because we're going to win 9 games, 8 games. And
just enough to get a bad draft
maybe
pick.
even that. 7 games. Like, here's the thing is y'all are.
Good night, Lynn.
Y'all are too hype. Y'all are too hype about Christian McCaffrey coming back. We should have won this game without him.
Agreed.
See, I would have been mad hype about him coming back, about our kind of prospects going forward, if we had been coming off this win on Philadelphia, right? If we had been coming off of that and we say, oh, Dallas, we learned from our mistakes. We ran into a buzzsaw. Like they're clicking, they're humming right now. We had a bad game on the road. Now we took care of Philly. It won't beautiful, but we took care of it without Christian McCaffrey. But we didn't do that. So now we're sitting here begging for Christian McCaffrey to come bail us out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been way cooler if we were picking Christian McCaffrey up to go to a party rather than his ass trying to come bail us out of jail.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to put it.
Do we got anything else that we got to go to before the cat calls? I don't know. What else is going on? So we've talked about Joe Brady. We've talked about... we're like 10:25 into this joint. What else? There's got to be 1 or 2 more things to talk about.
I said let's let the cat calls dictate the rest of the flow.
All right, let me see. Let me see if I ain't even got them pulled up yet. Tell them how they can find our stuff.
Well, I tell you what. How about this? My man Jeff asked me a question. He said, "Cody, answer this question for me, bro. What quarterback in the NFL meets expectations?" with no running game and no offensive line. Yep. Jesus, dude. You see some fucking
What?
Yep. Thanks
What's
for
Fucking idiot.
letting me know, CK.
Yeah, no problem.
Dude,
didn't-
every single show now we get fucking some crazy dumb asshole in the chat spamming shit. Apologies for anyone that had to read that dumb shit. Jeff said, Cody answers this question. What quarterback in the NFL meets expectations with no running game and no offensive line? And listen, right now, the three that come to the top of my head that can do that without offensive lines are Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and once upon a time, Deshaun Watson. And I think I'd put Russell Wilson in that category as well. But other than that, unless you have an elite level runner or quarterback, yeah, there aren't too many I would put in a position to be able to do something like that. That's why I'm not freaking out over Sam. You know?
Think about this while we get to the calls. Is that how much different would it be if we had Deshaun Watson type thing? You know, like would it be my point?
Y'all don't want me to start talking about this, man.
Nah, I mean, think about it. Actually, I'm starting to get to this point. Is that yes? It would be better if we had, in my mind, I think it's Deshaun Watson, kind of like Cam Newton at his prime. You know, it was like some supreme, just superb talent, like what Lamar Jackson did type thing. They can make up for so much, but it would almost imagine if it took what did you say that we needed to trade for Deshaun before he started putting dicks on people's faces? Was it 5 first rounds?
Three first round picks and players.
It was 3 first round picks and our entire draft next year.
Right. It was something ridiculous. And
no, that's not what the Texans wanted. They wanted 3.
I'm talking about the show you.
No, that was for my Trevor Lawrence. I said let us.
Oh, that was for Trevor Lawrence.
I said let us keep one draft.
My point,
and then the next 2 years trade everything away.
I almost would just
we didn't do
trade. I need those. Like it would be better just to have 3 first round picks and just do offensive line and then get a quarterback who's close to the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like instead of just having a great quarterback with no offensive line, when will the Carolina Panthers have an offensive line? The answer is never.
Never.
But you can call in to the C3 Panthers podcast right now at 252-228-5098. Let's jump into these cat
So what are your
calls.
thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey guys, a big fan of the show. I think this is pretty simple. I think we've been touting this same problem for the last 10 years, and you guys know what I'm going to say. It starts with the offensive line. It's a domino effect. We just can't put together consistent drives on offense. We cannot control the game. When you can't control the game, our defense is really freaking good. And if it wasn't for our defense, we might have been beat by 21 points today. But you can't expect the defense to make big stops in the fourth quarter when they've been on the field 75% of the game at that point. It's the thing. You got to fix the offensive line, and if it were me, if I'm the GM, this might be controversial. I want to hear y'all's opinion on it, but to me, Andre Dillard, he kind of shut down our superstar, as we like to call him, and Brian Burns. And, I'm trading Dante Jackson for Andre Dillard and whatever else the Eagles want straight up. If that's what it's going to take, if that's what it's going to cost to improve the line, then so be it. Dante had 2 picks today, but we only got 3 points from those picks. Picks aren't as valuable if your offense can't capitalize on them. So, trade Dante for Andre Dillard and draft Kenyon Green or Tyler Lindstrom in the first round next year, and in my opinion, we'll actually be a legit playoff team next year.
I completely agree with this caller about what he's saying with the offensive line. I kind of like the trade pick that he offered there. It's an interesting one. I will disagree with the picks aren't valuable if you don't score off them. That's like saying brakes aren't good on a car if you don't have one that goes really fast. I mean, the point of the defense is to stop the other team from scoring, not to score itself. So scoring itself is great, but if you stop the other team from scoring on a turnover, that's still great on the defense. But yeah, that's an interesting trade.
I don't think they would do it. That's the problem. Like, look at it from the Eagles' perspective. They just shut down our star wide receivers, regardless of pressure, and they got three interceptions. Like, and if you, I didn't get a chance. I've basically tried to take a break from the Panthers for the past 2 days, so I haven't went back and watched the tape. But I'm going to venture to guess that they had our wide receivers locked down outside of a few passes, because even when those passes were on time, these guys were within like 2 feet of the ball, like every time. Like their secondary was all over the place.
Their secondary over celebrated in their press conference. Like, I mean, they came out and acted like they were boss bitches. And Darius Slay, what is it? Darius Slay?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and he did have 2 picks, it's 2 weeks in a row, 2 picks by the same dude. They did get their 3 picks. So I'm not asking them to come out and be all cucky or something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't asking them to do that. But they did come out and try, like, he was challenging the reporter. He was like, so did you follow DJ around? And he's like, hell yeah, I followed his motherfucker around. Like, he was pissed. So they were out there big chesting and thumping that secondary, but they also did recognize that defensive front for them gave them a lot of play. Dillard, though, I was hoping we beat this mug up, then trade for him. We could trade for anybody right now. You just Cody, you just brought up some guy's name that was Augustus, whatever his name was.
Augustus.
He looked like an 80s wrestler, and all of a sudden we're talking about it. It's like, they don't matter, man. We could trade for anybody at this point on the offensive line and would help.
He looks like the drummer from Poison or some shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, dude. No one looked good, man. We've had 2 bad games in a row. Our defense, for the most part, did okay. We need to continue to build, continue to see more.
What do you think about the Robby Anderson upsetting us? Right. So as we see this picture floating around, Robby, just having a moment on the sideline, and then people are asked. I felt like the reporters are kind of overblowing it up. They're like trying to be like, what do we want to know? We want to know why Robby was upset. And they're like trying to make it a deal afterwards. Is there anything to that beyond just frustration in the game? I don't think so. I think people are trying to smoke on Robby right now just because it's easy. Just sign the contract, drop a couple of passes, upset on the sideline. Like, what do they want him to do? Just go over there and be quiet?
I mean, talk about think about his frustration. And this is where I do put some of the blame back on Sam Darnold. When he's had time, he hasn't gotten the ball where it needed to be with Robby Anderson down the field. Like, the good news is that he is overthrowing the receivers, which is something that didn't happen last year. He's not underthrowing them. But the problem is like, when you see Robby Anderson do his job, and I'm not saying he's the greatest, most technical wide receiver out there, but when you see him do a route to perfection, and he's got nobody within 5 yards of him, and the ball is 2 feet just beyond his fingertips, just think about how frustrating that's got to be for him. And after
Robby sucked though this year too, though.
He dropped a good.
And I'm the biggest.
Shut up. He doesn't
Robby
suck, man. He's been open. We just hadn't
big third down pass.
I didn't say he sucked.
Third down pass.
He has sucked. Like, he has missed some. He's dropped passes that he ain't ever dropped before.
Sam has also missed him a ton too.
Yeah, no. Like, look, I'm a big Robby fan. He wears the 11s, homie. Like, it's like, don't worry. I'm big time Robby fan. I'm not worried about that. Like, I'm not saying he's overrated, this and that, but he also has had his moments where he could have done better. I will say that.
Everyone has, but my thing is this:
I don't give a fuck that he's upset on the sideline, though.
Until our offensive line is better, it is cursed to be the deep threat on this football team, dude. It happened with Curtis Samuel. It happened with Demir Bird. It's happening with Robby Anderson. I mean, come on, guys. It's like we're going to continue to be disappointed that our deep threats aren't making plays down the field when, one, the quarterback doesn't have enough time to make those throws, and then number two, he's not even proving accurate enough to hit those throws yet. So, I mean, he's missed more than he's hit.
Robby hasn't been perfect this year. That's it. Hey, right. I like this super chat real quick because there's a pirate. That's my dude right here. Mossy Man 789 says, "Bless you guys. Love the podcast. Carolina will get it together. Go ECU Pirates." And then he gives you a shout out. Cody, be a consultant for the Panthers. Have a blessed night. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the donation. The super chat, $4.99 super chat. We appreciate it. We never asked for it,
but it's always appreciated.
That's right. The number is 252-228-5098. You can be a part of our community by just hitting the thumbs up button. That's free. Calling in, chatting with us. Let's see what they got to say.
What it do, my boys? It's your boy Mike.
I love what they do.
What up, Mike?
Boys are having a fantastic Tuesday. Yeah, so Panther Nation.
He used all his energy on the Supreme.
All the Panther Nations out there in the nation.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been a fan since 2000. I can't call myself the greatest fan, but I tell myself I'm the greatest fan. Okay, because I love this team. All right, since 2000, that year we won the first game against the Vikings. I don't know who else remembers this, but we won that first game against the Vikings and proceeded to lose every single fucking game after that.
Then we got George Peppers after that.
1-15. All right, it was a record at the time.
Yep,
15 straight game loss in the season until the Lions and the Browns took that over, but because they lost all their games. But you know, I've been there at the lowest of lows. Okay, from that season, let's not forget the Clausen era. Okay, I know we all forgot about it, but let's not forget the Clausen era. That was some shit. Okay, that was some shit. It had us thinking Matt Moore was the answer. It had me thinking Matt Moore was the answer. I was a fucking idiot. Okay, I'll say
don't
that
feel
right
bad,
now.
Mike.
So yeah, all you Panthers fans that talk all this shit after 5 games, there's still 12 games left. Okay, I'm looking at you, G baby. All right, looking forward to seeing you on the Friday free fall because I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, a ninja been busy, but I'm gonna be there. All right,
bring the heat, Mike. Bring that heat, bro.
My man Cody up. Oh, speaking of my man
right.
Cody,
what up, bro?
I got a question, bro.
What's up?
Question.
What's up? What's up?
Do you? I don't know. It's still pretty early, but do you see like a bunch of O-line talent coming out next year? Because we're going to need it.
So sad. We're talking about the draft.
Because Darnold looking bad out there. So
I saw somebody ask Matt Rule about the draft.
Right? Panther Price is our guy.
That's right. Keep pounding. Shout out to the homie Mike. Hey man, he's been a staple on the Friday free for all. Can't wait to have you back, Supreme Lita. And listen, man, unfortunately, I cannot answer that question yet. So there comes a point, like right at the end of the season, where I do a deep dive on all the positions. I start looking at all the players, and I just go down the list, and I start trying to find film of every single player that I can. Right now, I really don't know much, if anything, about the 2022 draft. But you already know before draft time, I'm going to have all of y'all covered, man. I always put out my top players, my top 100 players. I do film breakdowns on college prospects coming into the draft. I did that before the draft this year. I'll be doing it again this year. So, yeah, man, keep it glued to C3 for everything you need to know. We'll be telling you about future draft prospects, current Panther players. Man, we got you covered over here.
You always say that wait till week 6 before you start drawing judgments on teams. Like we really start to learn who a team is by week 6. We're going into that game, right? As so after this week, according to the Cody Lashney formula, which I subscribe to, like, I think I'm ready to call it the C3 formula at this point, because I'm all in it. Like, I believe it's a good measure.
Yeah, thank you, man.
But you said this. You said this. We've been talking about this offensive line nonstop. Now there are reporters even asking Matt Rule about the draft next year. Are we at that point, Cody? And because I think that I wasn't ready for. I think where I was so hyped about this Carolina Panthers team 2 weeks ago is I felt they were so ahead of schedule. It really felt like all of a sudden, we're going to be better than I expected. Week 6 here. Are we talking about this team reorienting and finding a way to be a little bit better than we expected? Or should we be asking Matt Rule about the draft? And should you maybe
start
accelerate your timeline about
start looking at these college dudes?
Right? I don't know. I'm putting it on you. You tell me.
Yeah, no. Listen, the Panthers are 3-2 right now. We're number 2 in our division. There's a whole fuckload of football left out in front of us. And listen, our destiny is still in our hands, boys. The Panthers have to respond. Every year for the past 3 years, the Panthers fall off of a cliff around this point in their season. And we all know that about them. But the Panthers have a tremendous opportunity in front of them to respond and prove that they are the team that we thought they were to start this season. And that's a really damn good football team. Right now, all options are still open. It's what the Carolina Panthers decide to do with the opportunities they have in front of them. Because we don't have to be talking about the draft right now. Not at all. There's way too much out in front of us. And for us to be looking toward the draft right now, it's too early for that, man. Christian McCaffrey's coming back. Stephon Gilmore hasn't seen the field yet. Potentially, J.C. Horn might come back. So, yeah, man, there's no reason for us to hit the panic button and start talking about the draft just yet. But with that said, I know the Bat Daddy has to get out of here. Greg, I wanted to give you an out, man. Anything else you want to say? And let the people know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, man. Well, before I do that, real quick, I did have some interesting stats. I just want to put it out there. I'm always arguing that Sam Darnold's a top 10 quarterback. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Derek Carr, Matt Stafford, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott. Would everybody say that's probably top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL? You think anybody may have left off that list? Maybe Russell Wilson, but actively playing right now. He's injured.
That sounds pretty good.
When you compare yards, completion percentage, touchdowns, and I say touchdowns, I mean touchdowns rushing and passing, which I included for every player. So overall touchdowns and overall turnovers to include fumbles lost and interceptions. Sam Darnold does not rank last in any of those categories with those top 10 quarterbacks. He ranks about 8th in just about every category, but it's still top 10. It's the bottom of the tier, but it's still top 10.
Behind a horrible offensive line, too. That's the other part.
He's not been terrible this year.
No. He hasn't been terrible. He's not an MVP. He's not a world beater, but he's a good quarterback. I mean, we
I
can
think
win with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Greg, I think, Greg, what you're trying to say is that if we continue to build around him, there's no reason why Sam couldn't be just what we're looking for here in Carolina.
24 years old.
He's had a lot of he does have some offensive weapons. And Greg, I know you got to go, but Lamar Jackson is the first player. And did you see the stat out today that in 4,000 games, he's the only guy that has thrown 85%
completion percentage and 4 touchdowns
and 40 or more passes and had this rushing. The game last night, Lamar Jackson in the fourth quarter, I turned the game on. I wasn't even watching it because my fantasy was up. I was hanging out with my wife, you know what I'm saying? And I just peeked at the score and they were down 14 points and it was 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And these guys, he's making history when I wake up.
He's crazy.
He's another.
Go deliver our Amazon packages.
I will.
Later, Greg. Please. Hey, plug your. Did you plug your stuff yet?
No, I didn't. You can find me at the BatData52 on Twitter. It's my personal handle. Check out my show, Super Civil Servants Podcast, covering television shows, movies, comic books, just about anything you can, consume, any kind of media. It's a fun time. Live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the audio drops Mondays on any podcast catcher. Check me out.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Greg. Man, we'll see you
later,
soon.
brother.
Check out the Super Civil Servants Podcast. I got lots of questions to ask about entertainment stuff. My go-to people. All right, let's go with next call. 252-228-5098.
Yo. KG here. First time caller. Just want to say I love what y'all doing. I love the content.
Thank you.
Appreciate you,
Panthers, man. I really think they overlooked the Eagles a lot. I feel like
trap.
They came into that game oh yeah, we're just gonna whoop them. Simple as that. We had way more talent in them. This isn't that. I know the NFL. It's whoever shows up on Sunday. I get that, but they really overlooked them. I feel like they didn't want to do
we underestimated their defensive front.
They don't want to show what they have because we got the Vikings coming up, and that's a harder game in my opinion. But I feel like this game right here versus the Vikings is gonna show what the Panthers really are. This is the game. If we come out 3-3, I feel like this season is. I won't say it's over, but playoffs, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, just want to say, like I said, man, keep doing what y'all doing, man. Love the content, and yeah, keep pounding.
Thank you so much for the call. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the support. Thank you for subscribing, listening. And I agree. Philadelphia was first of you can't call a trap game after coming off of a loss, right? That's the kind of weird thing to say. We were coming off of, and the caller didn't say that. I've said that though. I described the Philadelphia Eagles game as a trap game. And so my boy was like, what do you mean it's a trap game? You're coming off a loss. But we did, like the caller said, 100. I think we underestimated the Philadelphia Eagles. I think we underestimated their defensive front four. Right? It's these guys just owned our offensive line, and we weren't ready for it at all. We didn't even have no answers once you're getting beat like a drum. We didn't I'm not an expert on the film and this and that, but when you look back at it, it was just our 5 offensive linemen against their 4 defensive men, and they beat their defensive front, and they just beat our ass every time. It wasn't we were sliding this dude over. I will say, and I think Cody, CK, you mentioned this in maybe the post game about us running to the left a lot too.
Yeah.
How about this? Is that we never run left. Right. We do. There's times we run but that
is
was
that Zoolander? I can't turn left.
I know. But we were everything was lined up to the Taylor Moton side.
Exactly.
We ran left, the Chuba Hubbard runs that were successful were to the left side. And generally, I feel like everything I've always heard and seen for our team and what Ron Rivera used to say is like that, like run plays go to the right more often. And like why all of a sudden was this happening? I think it's all an example of how our offensive line was shoveled around like ridiculousness. We were unprepared for that.
Yep.
We tried to compensate for it, but the caller is exactly right. I think we underestimated the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think that's why Darius Slay's thumping his chest after the game so much.
Yeah, listen, he had a great game too, and that guy played a lot of good coverage. They continued to throw his way. There were at times when it felt like Sam Darnold was trying to force feed the ball to DJ Moore just to try and make a play on two different occasions, and it was just those are those boneheaded interceptions. And again, when everything starts to break around Sam, that's when he reverts back into that guy that's always trying to make a play, trying to play superhero ball, throwing into a coverage that you shouldn't. So again, the Panthers are not playing complimentary football, and a part of that's Joe Brady. Part of that is personnel. We're just not having the proper guys out there on the field who can do the right things. Our guards are struggling something fierce, and we have to fix it, man. We have to fix it.
It's not gonna get fixed, bro.
Not with the same players.
Not this year. Like I'll check us out in 12 months, maybe.
I don't. Maybe not fixed, but it damn sure doesn't have to be this fucking bad. You cannot tell me that it has to be this way.
Do you think that there's still a level of like we're not going to show everybody our concepts yet? Like, do you think they looked at our?
That would be fucked up, right?
Do you
like,
think that they looked at the first 5 games and they're like, all right, listen, if we lose one, then I think we could still win against these teams with basic concepts, and then with route trees and things like that. And then now, like,
what's your answer to that question?
I think it'd be stupid, but what else is the reason that our route trees are so one just singular? You know what I mean?
They were kind of referencing in the Philadelphia Eagles post game is that they had seen Robby in that formation several times. So some people are asking, is there a predictability? I would say this: if we're holding back right now, and we're the league's worst third quarter offense,
stupid.
Like, come on. Like, then it turns out you're trying to play chess. You thought you were playing checkers, and you were really playing like pickup sticks or something stupid. Come on. Yeah, that would be right now. I thought this is that, and I will go to the next goal on this point. That's why I wasn't trying to be that hype about Christian McCaffrey coming back. I wanted to win without Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So then Christian comes back and we say we're dynamic. But right now, we're playing checkers and we're playing with 2 pieces down and we're hoping we get a Christian McCaffrey bang. I'm sorry. Man, God. I believe Christian McCaffrey, transcendent player. I think he's amazing. I think it would be really cool if we pulled one win off without him. And then he comes back, and then all of a sudden I'm saying, you know what? We can make up for the offensive
Makes you feel
line.
a lot better about this team if that were the case.
Right now, I don't even give a fuck. Like, he comes back, and it's like only going to be so good.
Do you think McCaffrey's on the sideline, like after that comment that the offensive line made, we're not the Carolina Christian McCaffreys? Do you think Christian McCaffrey's on the sideline like, yeah, I think you guys are. Like,
turns out you are. Oh, I hope. You know what? I don't think he is, but he should be.
Right.
All right, next call.
Panther Nation C3 Podcast. It is your boy Frito Bandito. I know it's been a hot ass fucking minute.
What up, Frito?
God damn it, y'all keep eating these motherfucking chips and dip, and I can't call because I'm out here stocking that shit. Anyways, listen up, guys.
Oh, God.
We might have had a horrible fucking game against the Eagles, but look, a loss to loss. Let's fucking forget about the shit and let's keep fucking going, boys. We still got a lot of shit under the fucking table to do, man. Don't
Let's
give
go.
up on Joe Brady yet. Don't give up on Phil Snow. I mean, the defense is doing good. Don't get me wrong, but let's look. It is too early in the fucking season to start freaking the fuck out, especially about Sam Darnold. Give this guy a break, guys. I mean, shit. That's all I'm hearing on the fucking interwebs, the fucking Facebook groups. I mean, fuck me, man. You guys are quick to fucking burn this bitch or crucify this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But just be patient. Shit don't happen overnight, y'all. Let's just get with this shit and let's keep fucking moving. The schedule's going to be tough, so be sure to tighten that ass up because it's going to suck. Guys, this is just the second year under Matt Rule. Give them some time, boys. Give them some time. And look, also, if y'all want to shout out, I would love to join the podcast with you guys, C3, with my podcast, Drunken Inches, any day now. You guys, we need to stay in contact somehow if I can write you guys email. And also, look, keep motherfucking pounding, baby. Pound those
pounding, baby.
Frito Bandito, fantastic call. You can email us at Carolina Cat Chronicles. I know it's long. Carolina Cat Chronicles at gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at cat_chronicles. You can hit up Cody at CODY
LAC. Yep. Cody Lack, CODY LAC. Like a cat.
Love to collaborate.
Cody
And
Lack.
you know what? I'm with him, man. Like, I mean, I'm not going to look. Let's just be honest. Sam Darnold had his worst game as a Carolina Panther.
Right.
Has he exceeded my expectations as a Carolina Panther? To this point, I would say, yeah, a little bit. I had moderate to average expectations. Not ready to give up on anybody, but not ready to believe that this offensive line is going to be any better, man. I'm sorry. Right. I'm at this point where I think, like, I'm a little worried that cycling these different players in would be it's going to just be a small Band-Aid. I think the offensive line is going to be a problem to the end of the season. And that's why I think I'm not ready to give Sam Darnold not a pass, but like, look, is that any quarterback that's a Carolina Panther quarterback is going to have to play behind this line until they don't, until we get a better one. Like, that's what they're going to have to do. So we can make excuses about like, oh, well, he got pressured on 5 out of whatever. Like, yeah, he did. Here. But
Dr. Pepper, 888 Dr. Pepper said Pro Football Focus said Darnold had 24 pressures on 37 dropbacks.
It is terrible.
Which is terrible.
66% of his dropbacks.
But that's what that's what it is being a Carolina Panthers quarterback, bro.
I mean, the thing is like you shouldn't have to have your best plays be out of the bootleg. Like that shouldn't be a thing.
The bootleg's nasty though. Cam used to slay. Yeah, why do you think Greg Olsen made any money on the bootleg?
Right, but like that's the thing is that isn't happening. Like we don't. I don't know if listen. I don't know what's going on with Tommy Tremble or Ian Thomas or what, but like none of our tight ends are really like extending plays. And like the thing that you notice, like after watching, like for instance, the Bills game against the Chiefs, is like when Mahomes is in his scramble drill, his entire like team is trying to protect, like trying to get open. Like it feels like everybody gives up after like with Darnold out there just scrambling. Like he's got it.
I don't disagree with any of this. And my only thing is I just don't want to I'm not going to give a pass. Look, I was very hard on Teddy Bridgewater for his physical limitations. Right. I know I was a Cam defender for my entire life. I will be that person because I saw him deal with this fucking shitty ass line, like no line, and make it look way better than it was.
Yeah.
And so I just don't want to say, look, is like I understand that Sam Darnold has not had a good situation when it comes to the protection or whatever, but that's just what it is in Carolina. And that's just what it is for our team. It ain't going to change next week or this and that. So we can continue to make, like, he's either going to have to make plays behind the shitty line or not make plays behind the shitty line. I mean,
And at least we know that Scott Fitterer is aware of the issue. And as dumb as that is to say, like, of course they're aware of the issue.
Of course. But
because
so was the last guy, too.
They've already inquired about a trade for offensive linemen. They're actively looking. Apparently, they're not done looking. They've already brought up someone from the practice squad. The problem is they know what we know, Tony Dunn. All the big moves to be made for offensive linemen should have been done already.
Too late. Yeah, it's too late.
You're far too late, man. So again,
and now you're going to be trying to pay Reddick. Hassan Reddick goes out there and gets 2 sacks and 2 plays.
Yeah, dude. And listen,
this motherfucker's putting up numbers. That motherfucker is going to get paid more.
Now
than anybody.
Dante Jackson is looking like he wants to get paid again. DJ Moore, up to this point,
we're starting over. We're
at
starting
a number
over,
one wide
man.
receiver.
Like
now
CJ Henderson was the best move we could have made.
You just have to hope that they can evaluate offensive line talent. That when they do bring people in. And also another thing,
ask the Seattle Seahawks how great they are.
And listen, y'all better hope that I really
part of that.
No, that I really am right. That I really am Nostradamus over here telling you that the answer really is on the football team. Because let me tell you, if it isn't, I'm sorry, Frito Bandito, but this is not a playoff football team, bro. No matter how many games we have ahead of us, you'd be asking the defense to do way too much all the time. So.
We could be if our offensive line wasn't trash. Next call. Come on. Double click.
Hey, guys. Stat Showman calling in.
What's up, man?
I'm finally ready to talk about this loss, as it was one of the most depressing losses I've seen. It reminded me of what we looked like last year, where our team did decent in the first quarter. I guess the second quarter they did okay. Should have scored instead of that safety, though, but can't complain about that. I'm wearing actually all black today for reminiscing of Sam Darnold's career, as I think it's done. I know it's only he has 3 games, 2 bad games.
It's done.
Hopefully he can bounce back. That's what I'm hoping for, but I think he's back to seeing ghosts, and it just sucks. But our defense can't be giving up those runs at the end of the game. We have no edge. I thought about this during each game we had. Every time someone runs the ball to the outside, there's no one there. Everyone's always breaking in, and it always screws up when people get around. So our defense, I think, is excellent, but still needs to work on stopping the run. And then offensive line, I'm not going to go into it. Cody talks so much about them, and I agree with everything he says. We need to get Deontay Brown in there. We need a big presence. John Miller is a fat, slow man who can't do shit. But we'll see. Dennis Daly's a joke as well. He's weak. So at least maybe leave John Miller in there, but get rid of Dennis Daly. He's literally watching him get pushed around. Matt Paradis is a joke. He's old. He's done. We should spend our first 5 picks on offensive linemen next year. DJ Moore, no hands. Just kidding. He's the bomb. But Robby Anderson needs to get his shit together. Terrace Marshall needs to stop crying on the.
Oh, it had some choice words for Terrace at the end there. Yeah, listen, man, that's the polar opposite of Frito Bandito. He's already writing Sam Darnold's eulogy and shit. Yeah, man, look, a lot of people, and we can be real about this, a lot of people didn't believe in Sam Darnold to begin with. Just like a lot of people didn't believe in Teddy Bridgewater to believe in. And we've said for both of them, they have to earn it. We're not going to dub anyone the Panthers franchise quarterback of the future unless they go out there and start to look like it. It is just tough to do behind a really bad offensive line. And yeah, you're right, man. The defense didn't play physical enough. And I feel like the defense, I'm just really not worried about it, man. I don't know why. I just think that they've been able to do enough. We have enough speed, power, athleticism. Shaq Thompson's going to be coming back. Stephon Gilmore's coming in. CJ Henderson is still ingratiating
Yeah, the
himself to
defense
the
is not
offense.
even close to the prop. Like, nobody. We're not worried about the defense at all. In fact, the fact that we played without Shaq Thompson, I think, against a team that has two very good tight ends in Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, right, where you need a Shaq Thompson type player. Like, I think our defense has been is not only been adequate, it's been fantastic. AJ Booyaka came in there and had a great game. Like, it looked like he was starting to settle in after two games back. CJ Henderson has been fine. Yeah, nobody's been like, oh, CJ Henderson, big weakness on this team.
No.
The defense is like nobody's talking. That's why I think Matt Rule referenced the defense, because he knows that Phil Snow is a tough enough person. Like, he knows him well enough that he knows that, like, he ain't going to be up. Like, I had to do it. Sorry, Phil. Had to do it. And the defense is good enough. The offense is the problem, bro. And when I say the offense, it's one part of it. The offensive line. It's offensive. It's fucking offensive.
Do we have to get one of these magic quarterbacks that can make things happen behind bad offensive lines? And there's not very many of them.
We just need two guards.
That's what I'm saying. It's either one or the other. You either have to have a magician at quarterback, or you have to have a really badass offensive line.
All right, let's go next call. Same call.
Hey, this is Zach Shulman again. I just want to say one quick thing, because I was listening to the post-game show, sorry.
You muted yourself, Tony. You muted yourself. I can't hear you.
Down the field for the touchdown,
hold on,
because he doesn't know
because
how
he
to
was
cover.
talking junk about me.
I was listening to the post-game show, sorry. And I heard Tony hang up on someone for talking smack about Sam Franklin. Well, Sam Franklin was the one who gave up that bomb down the field for the touchdown because he doesn't know how to cover. I agree, Sam Franklin's a great tackler, but when it comes to coverage, he gets...
I'm hanging up on you, too.
Dude.
I mean, like,
they're never going to call back.
That's what we're talking junk about. Sam Franklin.
Hey, man, he gave up a big touchdown. Why do we even have him out there on that?
He gave up a big touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, next call. Hanging up on
Hey, guys. This is Marcus, all the way out here from sunny California.
What's up, Marcus?
And I had a couple hours to mow over this embarrassing loss that Carolina delivered to us as a fan base. And, I'm super excited for Stephon Gilmore. Think that's pretty awesome that he comes back home to us and whatever. But our problems aren't on defense. Our problems are all on offense. Sam Darnold looked like dog shit out there. Our offensive line actually looked decent. They obviously sucked. Matt Paradis was the main cause of it. But it was really awesome seeing Christensen out there. I thought he did, fairly well for what he was worth. Tyler Moton out there in the left tackle spot, I thought he did a good job, to say the least. But Sam Darnold just looked like absolute trash. He looked like Sam Darnold from back in New York. Chuba Hubbard looked amazing. I thought Chuba Hubbard looked fantastic and definitely a very great backup for whenever, if we ever get back Christian McCaffrey. But honestly, I don't think that even having Christian McCaffrey in there today would have made the difference, because our offense is fucking dog shit. I can't believe our defense could play so well, turn over the ball, get fumble and an interception on back-to-back plays, and have nothing to show for it. It's embarrassing.
Irritating.
And then that safety, we had a chance to go up by 7. And instead we get away with just 2. And that right there is just, it's ridiculous. I don't know. After watching today's game, I feel like, just like I did last year after losing to Minnesota in an embarrassing manner, honestly, I feel like this is just the beginning. This is the beginning to a embarrassing downslope that we've seen time in and time out. Carolina goes on a win streak for a little while, gets our hopes up, and then goes on a 10-game lose streak. And at this point, I don't even give a shit. Because at this point, I feel like the only person I can blame is our offensive coordinator. That guy can't call a game for shit. He can't fucking get our fucking guys ready at the half to go play another dog shit third quarter. And then on top of that, you know, I don't know.
A lot of cool stuff to the call. First, love the passion.
Yep.
Second, I do agree. Like, I mean, I think we've kind of all been on this mantra. Like, let's not talk about the defense. And I don't even want to field any conversation about, oh, we should have gotten a touchdown instead of a safety. Yes, we should have. That would have been ideal. But our defense gave us points. You know, our defense gave us points.
Can I make a
At
point?
the end of the
real quick?
day, I'm not even going to say our offense sucks. I think our offensive line is offensive.
All right. So, old boy was talking about Sam Franklin. You cut his line off. This dude said, our offensive line isn't that bad. And you going to let that still roll?
So you want me to hang up on him?
I'm just saying. The disparity. Anyway.
All right. We'll see. You know, it does come down to the offense. I don't think though that like I'm like okay with what Joe Brady does. Like what I think is the people that are disappointed in Joe Brady are the people that expected him to revolutionize football.
Yeah.
No, and I didn't expect him to. I think, you know what? I think our offense has been, yes, can we quibble about every damn play? Certainly. But at the end of the day, to me, the number one problem is the offensive line. It's offensive. The number 2 problem is a lack of execution. And that includes the quarterback, Sam Darnold. It falls on everybody, probably but DJ Moore. You know, I mean, like, yeah, it is the offense, but it's the offensive line. It's so offensive. Sam Darnold is just okay, and he could be better behind a better line. Very, very simple. So, next call.
Hey Tony, it's and you know Cody and Cody's album. I've actually been watching your streams lately. I've been entertained. I think you guys are doing such a great job for this community.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
And the Panthers fan base is really a family. I know yesterday, I kind of tried to stay off Twitter a little bit. I was struggling because I saw a lot of things in the first few weeks that people were talking about. I noticed early. I mean, it's situational miscues. It's these things that happen, in games that where you find yourself, I guess the best way to put it is like they just overshadow. Like bad things are often overshadowed by wins, man. And I went back and I watched those games time after time. I was watching a lot of tape, and I saw them, and I was like, wow, these are real life things that are happening, and they came back to bite us yesterday. You kill a team for a half, and then you you're only up 9 points. That gives that team a momentum boost. Like they're feeling okay, they're feeling confident, right? But yesterday, for Sam Darnold, right? I think Sam does deserve some blame for yesterday. It was a collective group loss. But Sam, what I'm looking forward to seeing more of, like I think he needs to really, really work on this, and it causes him whenever he's missing. A lot of the time, what I'm and just in general, a lot of over-eye manipulation. So he's holding stuff for too long, which also causes him to be late on some of those intermediate deep passes, which we haven't seen a ton of. We've been really, that was what Robby was complaining about yesterday about, how we're predictable, we're sitting, we're not really stretching the field. He wants some more double moves, some more, just some more vertical concepts that Joe dialed up a lot at LSU, and they've kind of squandered here lately. But see, a lot of times you'll see him holding the robber too long. Next thing you know, he's not hitting the shallow or slant. During weeks 1 through 3, when we had C-Mac, he showed that willingness, right? He showed that willingness to lock his eyes in with his feet, get to his shallow, get to his track, get to his early crosser, and those are things that, man, like it kills me. I really think that the lack of kind of continuity with these backs and these tight ends will come back to hurt him whenever he doesn't see his first read, because you saw it yesterday on his pick to that he tried to hit the whole shot to DJ. That was obviously a ball that shouldn't be thrown. He went 1 straight to 2, and the next thing you know, it's the interception. Like, these are things that can't happen. I need him looking off that same corner and just getting rid of the ball. We can't have INTs like that. Just forces kind of similar to what I saw in New York last year when I was evaluating tape then. But Matt Rule needs to be better. I think that's fair to say. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Joe Brady, probably his worst game yesterday, right? I think that's pretty fair.
Sure.
And then you got, so after that, Chase Blackburn, man, I'm telling you,
I know.
Fantastic call, man.
I know. And he kind of is nailing at the end everything you got to nail out.
Especially when he talked about watching my streams.
Yeah. Does he have another one? Does he have a part 2 of that call?
Ooh, I thought that wasn't that part 2.
No, that was it.
I think that who I hung up on. No, it's
no,
not.
that wasn't who you hung up on. Was there a part 2 to that one? If there wasn't, then pause it and I'll answer him.
Let me find the last. No, there's a lot of part 2s. Let me. Let's talk about 2 things on that, because we flogged the Joe Brady, we flogged the offensive line.
He made a good point about Sam in his call, that he's really been dependent on that first read. And I think a lot of that is having Christian McCaffrey here. They've kind of taught him to do that because they had that safety valve in McCaffrey. But I think when he didn't have his first read open, he would just start to panic. And that's the kind of Sam Darnold that we saw in New York. So I agree 100% with that caller, man. He really needs to. I mean, it's so much easier said than done. It's so easier to say, hey, you need to stay calm in the pocket while you have 310-pound men barreling at you, and stay calm.
And the worst, and you just got blown up 2 plays early.
Destroyed. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's
tough. I think
dude.
One thing that's interesting is a lot of people are like, oh, Sam needs to throw with more anticipation. That's one thing I've seen floating around on Twitter from a lot of people. And to be honest, is like that was my I won't say a criticism with Cam, is I felt like Cam was always a guy that needed to see the guy be open rather than expecting him to be open.
He wasn't throwing guys open for the majority of his career here. Yeah.
Right. And so I don't know. Maybe Sam has got to be better at all of that. I think too interesting that like the last parts of the call, and there is a second part to this call, and we're going to get to it. Chase Blackburn, right? The special teams have been a mess, to be honest. And I mean, I know it's easy to just look at punt returners and like, yeah, Erickson's catching the ball. He's not doing much. I mean, he's not been awful. He's not been good either. But we've had multiple. Yeah, he did. You're right. We've had multiple penalties though on special teams, like too many people on the field. Like it's been disorganized at times and not great. I know that the field goal kicking dominates the discussion, and I don't believe that's really on I don't think the personnel is on the coach. Like, it's more about the problems that happen. But at some point, I think we're going to have to start saying, like, is he a fall guy? Is it time to start thinking about that? And the other part of the call was Matt Rule and the coaching staff, and the timeouts are a problem. And I don't know if that's Joe Brady. I don't know if it's the quarterback. I mean, it's everybody. But, like, we burn timeouts like crazy. So, two coaching things at the end of that call I thought were interesting.
Yeah. Chase Blackburn is a name that I don't think we say enough, man. For not a good reason too. I think that we have all been highly underwhelmed by our special teams this year. I think he has not made a smooth transition from player to coach.
Well, it was almost he's really been better in the past, to be honest. Like this
I think
the worst iteration of
it's
it.
bad now. That's what we know. We know
Under
that our
Rivera, he was a pretty decent special teamer coach. Like I'm not gonna sit here and like he earned the spot to be like he's the only holdover from that regime. And I think I agree. I hate the fact I like him. Like I want him to be. I wanted him to be.
I don't want to run over him with the bus, but
Right.
at some point we do have to
be like-
start talking about like, is this turn signal light out or something?
Right.
Why is it so bad? We never get kickbacks. We're always letting them take it out a good distance. Like we've never had.
It's more the
big
mistakes that are a problem
special
to me.
team
The
play.
problem with like not having enough people
That's all
out there,
coaching.
then having too many people out there, then this or the, and then 2 weeks ago, I think it was against the Dallas game, where we saw Matt Rule visibly frustrated with Blackburn on the sideline. It wasn't too much, but it was just like, man, he won't happy.
But when you're not
Yeah.
putting enough people on the field or too little, dude, that's
Right.
all on
And
coaching.
then you're calling timeouts, and
It's
then you're rushing stuff.
unacceptable, man. It's stupid and it's unacceptable. And we have to
All right,
be
here's
better.
the back end of that call.
I got cut off there. No, and I'll try to keep it short. I know you guys got other people calling in, and I really enjoyed the show. Like I said before,
Thank you for calling in. It was a great call too.
Can't really call much this year. But yes, man, I'm telling you, yesterday was we blew that game. These are the type of things that come back to bite you late in early January. We're going to be looking for a wild card spot, right? But there are some positives, right? I think.
Let's hear them.
I mean, yesterday defensively, I was really impressed. I thought, other than a few
I
blown
agree.
coverages, like Sam Franklin got to see he gambled. That's something we don't want to see, right? We don't want to see our guys gamble. He gambled on that corner. They hit the I think it was a shoulder eight or a skinny pose or something like that over the top on us on 3rd and 10. Man, we got y'all throw on 3rd down. That's what we've been great at this year, man. Like the biggest things for us this year, weeks 1 through 3, weeks 1 through 4 even. Defense, more so weeks 1 through 3. We're just getting up. We were winning on 3rd down both sides of the ball, and we were efficient in the red zone. Yes, man, I don't know really a lot more we can ask for our defense. I think, one thing I will say, I thought a few times yesterday, like Greg Olsen talked about it on the live cast, about how we can sort of contain these guys. Like Hurts, man, he brought containment a few times when Hassan Reddick or Frankie Louvu or even Jordan Stanford yesterday, who's had limited reps this year. He kind of came in and wasn't really he wasn't really playing his role right on the run. Jalen Hurts beat us like 5 or 6 times off a little like zone keep. But I want to talk about this yesterday, and I mentioned this yesterday in a tweet I made. It was about what happened to the leaks yesterday in the red zone, the bootlegs, the moving the pocket, getting Sam sort of moving. Say just the ultimate Newton out of structure, which he's shown he can do. I was really disappointed in that. But I liked him the split zone stuff, the duo stuff we were doing yesterday. We ran the ball well yesterday. That was the thing. Like I was impressed with how we were running the ball, but we weren't like the play action really wasn't their turn yesterday. I think they sent a lot of 2 high shell. They used to with Schwartz sitting a lot of single high.
Yeah.
But man, like I was really hoping that one of those times we were gonna, like, especially when we got down that red zone, we were gonna fake that toss and sort of boot off of it, have like a little corner concept and a guy coming back for me like sliding. That's what I was looking for, but we didn't really see it. I know this is a long call. Next time I call, I'll try to make it short. But I just want to continue to, man, you guys, we got so many guys in this Panthers, community. Like we're all family. We all got love for each other. We all want to see each other grow. And
for
I
sure,
want to see this team just take it all, man. Let's beat Minnesota next week. This team can make the playoffs. Let's get back healthy. Let's do it. We're gonna get Burris back. I don't know if he's back. Shaq Thompson should be back. McCaffrey should be back. Let's go, baby. Hope you guys have a great night. And
let's go.
Man, thank you very much for the support. Two
Absolutely.
great calls back to back.
For sure.
A lot to talk about too. And I mean, when we come to the X's and O's, let's go to the back end of the call again, which is looking ahead to Minnesota. For me, the I guess the disheartening part of this is that I see Minnesota as a real challenge.
Oh yeah.
And we started off so hot, right? 3-0. Now we're on this losing streak. No, I don't know if you call it like it just felt like the Eagles game is a game that you're supposed to win on the schedule.
Yeah.
And now the Vikings game is, to me, I think even a more of a challenge. Not because I think that their defense, I don't even know what to think about the Vikings defense these days, because the Eagles defense turned out to be more talented than people want to give them credit for. But the Vikings offense has got some real pieces, so it's not going to be an easy game going forward. So yeah, we got to get back on track, and at some point, the way to get back on track is just to get a W. And if that takes whatever it takes now, we're starting to get. If you lose this game right here, you're starting to get in playoff desperation mode a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
We're already uphill. We were already fighting an uphill battle as it was, right? Or as it is. You got to win the games, and it's not going to get any easier down the stretch. Playing Tampa twice in the end. You know what I mean? It's just going to be tough. So you got to get some W's, folks. We got to push through these calls. There's actually way more than I expected.
What up, C3? 89 here. So
What's up, 89? Jay Stubbs.
Watching it live, you just kind of like, yo, where the hell is Sam throwing it to, you know? And the defense played well, and I don't know, man. It just seems like the offense is something's going on, because like when you watch it live, you notice that like when Sam does have a clean pocket, you know, he kind of misses, but then you hear the other team saying, you know, like they only run in so many formations, and at some point in the game, if they know Sam is, you know, getting hit, all they're going to do is sit on them first routes. So it's like, can we not scheme something up better? And another thing is, our whole O-line is nothing but like Matt Rule prototypes. Like, he wants athletic guys who can move, but it's like we have a
They ain't
mauler
moving
on the bench,
for sure.
not getting a jersey. So I like for us to get O-line's supposed to be physical and dirty and, you know, mean, but it seems like we've got a bunch of finesse. It's like pick and roll basketball or something. I don't know, man, but y'all have a good night, man. Peace.
Now, when it comes to offensive line, again, it's offensive, but you know, is there something to that, and is that why the calls for Deontay Brown are so vocal from a Cody Lashney? Is maybe you're not the best. Actually, I don't even know how can you be worse than them fools? That's what I would say. Is that at least you're mean and you're tough. And I think Paradise gets bullied. I mean, we just got bullied up. I don't even think the Cats are finesse. That's what I would say. Is I don't even, if this is what the Matt Rule prototypical offensive line is, boy, we're in some struggle.
They continuously get hit with secondary moves. It's like they're good on the initial block, but dude, if you have one answer for their initial punch, they're dead on arrival, dude. They have no answer for it. And I mean, really, both of our guards are just playing like such shit, man.
But doesn't that also doesn't that lead to the fact that our coaching, whoever our offensive line coach is not good? Like, if they're not teaching more techniques to these guys, like, isn't there an issue there that we need to take into consideration? I know you're going to bring up Matsko, but I mean, the reality is, I mean, this is the worst O-line that I think we've seen in a long time.
So who is our offensive
like, it's
line
just
coach?
like so bad. You almost feel sorry for him, CK.
I mean,
not sorry for it, but like it's not like there's nothing good to talk about.
No, there's nothing good, but it also I think it boils
so
down
bad.
to
Pat Meyer is our current coach.
Not showing good coaching. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think it's showing very good. I don't think that I've seen anything that's made me believe that anybody on our offense is a good coach. Like, and I feel like offensive line is one of those it's sort of like the defensive line. Like, coaching can change a lot with what the defensive line does. Same thing with the offensive line. I feel like coaching is going to be a big part of what success an offensive line has. And yes, talent is a big part of it too. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, when you're talking about if they're making one move and they're getting beat on that one move and they have no answer for that, then that's a coaching issue.
All right, let's keep going with these calls.
What's going on, C3 Nation? It's your boy Jay Anderson hitting you up.
What's up, Jay?
This might be a two-part, so I'm just letting y'all know it might be a two-part. I'm trying to rush this in and everything.
Probably gonna give
I
you
know
one
everybody
part, given
upset
the
about
amount
the
of
whole,
calls.
the game Sunday, and rightfully so. And everybody just getting at the offensive line. The offensive line was totally bad, but we all know we haven't fixed the offensive line issue,
right?
Just since what, 2009, 2010ish and stuff like
Keep
that. That
going
O
back,
line. I
baby.
mean, the only time we probably had
Damn, y'all ain't lied about
a decent O line was 2015 at least. And that was basically average defense, probably like our top, if you say in a range of, in the range of 11 and 15th ranked top offense, offensive line. I mean, they were good. They did their thing except when they get to Denver, but everybody had problems every offensive line had problems against Denver. The Steelers had a good offensive line and they had a problem against, Denver. You look at the Patriots, they had a good offensive line and they had problems against Denver. So, it's nothing like that. So, basically, I know everybody was saying like, yo, that's, especially in that Panthers town hall meeting on Sunday, everybody's saying like, some people saying like we need the answers in the draft, that we need to draft, especially when they were saying like drafting the offensive line in the first round, and I was like, no, I mean, you can draft an offensive line in the first, offensive lineman in the first round, but it basically, it all comes down to coaching. It comes down to scouting and coaching. Basically, I don't know what it is about the whole scouting team throughout the years, but it has been bad on how they scout talent. At times they scout talent with the offensive line. I mean, granted, we had some pieces, but somehow the coaches couldn't, have them be, coach them right to be this group, this top, at least be a top 10 offensive line.
A top 10?
If you're gonna be,
We're like, we can't even be a
top
30,
10, top 15.
30
You would love to see that. You would love to see that every year,
about
just
a top
competing in that
20?
top 10,
above
top 10,
average,
top 15 of offensive
About
lines
top
and stuff
20.
like that. And we haven't.
You can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
But the part that
Oh,
is,
relax.
Go ahead.
What was that?
I think he was trying to play another one.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, it's again. I agree. Offensive line is still going to be an issue. I don't know that we wait till the draft. Like, listen, saying we're waiting till the draft to fix the problem is going to again possibly ruin another quarterback's career in Sam Darnold. Like, I don't know that's. We've got to be able to. I think coaching has to address it, and we need to be able to
fix this year.
That's the thing is like they've got to come up with some other like way of handling this to where Sam Darnold isn't taking this many hits. I know he's not running, but like, let's be honest, guys, he's taking as many hits as Cam Newton did when he was here with maybe a slightly better offensive line, but he was running so much.
He's
like,
young.
This is a problem.
He can handle it. He's got to handle it.
I was going to say before we go, it's relevant to what you were talking about, CK. I think Jeremy Fowler put on Twitter early NFL trade deadline buzz. He doesn't seem to think that the Panthers are done yet making trades this year. In fact, his exact words was, Carolina already landed Stephon Gilmore and CJ Henderson, but it probably isn't done making moves. the Panthers want offensive line help, which they've all but advertised publicly. The problem is teams don't want to give it. It was telling in the preseason when the Giants and the New England Patriots gave up a late round draft pick for Billy Price and blah, blah, blah. Offensive line depth is coveted league-wide, but Carolina is one team to continue to watch. Then he mentions our terrible pass block rate and that the Chiefs have good O-line depth, but they have a league-low 7 sacks. So we might be doing
the Chiefs
some
defense
D-line,
sucks, but I
O-line
don't know if they
swapping.
have good depth. Like, didn't they do a rebuild entirely? So maybe they do. Maybe that's
Yeah,
just a
that's what
name.
I'm saying, you know.
I mean,
Why
is
wouldn't they?
adding
Tony,
one
this
guard
is
gonna help?
but
And who
this
you
is
gonna
a
trade?
new
You gonna
age.
trade? You gonna trade Hassan Reddick?
I think you're probably trading Daquan Jones.
Or what? No, they got the. Don't they have the good
You have to trade someone
defensive tackle already? The guy that something Jones or something that used to,
Daquan?
they
That's
had some.
Daquan Jones.
No,
the guy
they
that we
had a
brought in
guy
from
that
Tennessee.
was a good that they paid. That was like a defensive tackle.
Morgan Fox.
No,
That's a
on the
defensive end.
Chiefs. The Chiefs have
Jones.
Jones.
Well, I thought you
or
meant the
something.
Panthers.
No,
Jones. I think
something
Justin
like
Jones.
that.
I forget
Whatever.
his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris Jones.
What if
Thank
we
you,
traded
Karen.
Hassan Reddick?
For who?
He's on a 1-year deal. No, we give them Hassan Reddick. I hate to do it because I think he's badass, and I think that he likes playing with Phil Snow. But we're gonna have to pay him this year. Like him, he's on a 1-year deal. He's only had 10 sacks in 5 games. Like you can get on live for him.
I mean, would you really want to?
I mean, if you get a player that's going to play multiple years and you don't got to pay him, and
Yeah, but
Hassan
the
Reddick, you're
Panthers
gonna
are
have to
trying to
pay.
build this
You have to.
O-line,
You're gonna
man.
let Hassan Reddick either walk out the door, or you got to pay him big time money after this year. I mean, you got like 2 options.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, oof, that's a tough question. Tough. And I actually think about that as we go to the short call next. Who do you want to trade then?
Cody Lack. Listen to me. I'm the captain. Now. No, look. No. Listen to me, Cody Lack. I'm the captain.
Boy.
I don't
the
even know what he's
captain
talking
now.
about.
Booyaka.
Booyaka. AJ Booyaka. I love it. Next call.
Oh yeah, this your boy JNC. Yeah, look again. I got one more thing to say, and that's I know people got upset about the whole Philly fans showing up at the Carolina State Carolina Stadium. I think someone say there's more Philly fans than Carolina fans. Some people say it was half and half. Some people say it was like 60-40 Carolina,
PSL problems,
Carolina
bro.
Panther fans and stuff like that. And I think people, part of that is probably, a little bit of the pandemic and stuff like that. Part of it is the Cam effect. Like, look, it's a lot. Cam brought a lot of fans to the, I know people going to hate hearing this because it's about Cam Newton, but let's be real. Cam Newton brought a lot of fans to the Carolina fan base. Let's be honest.
100%.
Even what's the old girl name? PJ Walker, baby mama. Even she was a Carolina Panthers fan, and she became one when Cam Newton got drafted there. So I know people don't want to hear her name, but let's be honest. Cam brought a lot of Panther fans, new Panther fans and stuff like that. And when they
Cam brought me here, man.
A lot of fans just didn't show up for these games and stuff like that. I think if they would have drafted Justin Fields, hell, I think if they would have tanked for Trevor Lawrence, they would have had a bigger outcome of Panther fans there. And it's been the same for a long time. It's like, okay, we'll tank for last season to 2020.
All right, man. We appreciate the call. I want to ask you guys this: is that do you think that first I think everybody agrees that Cam had a positive effect on attendance and excitement. Everybody's gonna good point there. What Why is it that do you think that what do you guys think about the fan base? I'm tired of I think fans are virtue signaling, Cody, to steal your repertoire about like, oh, Panther fans sell their tickets and this and that. Oh, we don't have a good culture. Of course we don't got a good culture. We ain't winning shit, number one. We ain't been winning shit for a minute. And number two, the PSLs, bro. Like, so what you have to do is you gotta buy the seat, then you gotta buy the season ticket, and then you didn't really want to go to half the games anyway, but you want to be a season ticket holder, you want to have that, so you buy all this shit, and then what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to, oh, let me see what your colors you wear. No, you put them on StubHub, you put them on that, and then this you sell it. The PSLs are the reason that people sell their fucking tickets, because you force people to buy tickets that only wanted like 4 tickets.
Well, keep in mind too, again, and if you notice anything, there are certain games. Yes, we did. There are certain games you can look back on and you see like a lot of this, and a lot of times it's NFC East matchups. The problem is, again, and I talked about it last time, is the way the ownership prices these, like the face value, even for season ticket holders. Anytime it's an NFC East matchup, guys, anytime it's an NFC East matchup, the base price is increased, meaning the ownership makes the decision to charge more. Now, what does that mean? Like, let's think about this from the base, all right? If you were a Panthers fan and let's say you live in Charlotte, or let's say you live anywhere, right? Well, you're going to look at the price, you'll be like, oh, it's going to be more to go see the Eagles than it is for me to go see the Patriots. It's going to be more for me to go see the Eagles than it is the Vikings. It's going to be more for me to go see the Eagles than the New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Bucks, or the Atlanta Falcons. The division games are the same price as the regular base, but the NFC East are more. Like, of course, what you're going to do is you're going to outprice your local teams, because people are going to be like, all right, I'll just go to a different game that's technically cheaper. And then the people that actually are fans in that city of Philadelphia, or within the surrounding areas, they're going to be willing to pay that extra price. It is ownership's fault when this stuff happens, especially with NFC East matchups. It's their decision and it's their right, but at the same time, you're losing home field advantage when you make that choice. They did not do any marketing research, and anybody who thinks about this from a logical standpoint has nothing else but to be able to agree with that.
Yeah, and by the way, David Tepper cleared out all those new expensive luxury seats right behind the end zone, just so that big money people in Charlotte can buy up those tickets and then resell them for double the price to their rich out of town friends. And again,
or
Tony,
give them
you
to their
made
out
the
of or
point.
give them away as a tax credit. You know, man, like,
But listen, you're the one that made the point, Tony Dunn. As long as we have the system that we have right now, David Tepper has no incentive to change it, because it's going to continue to put money in his pockets. It's going to mean that officially it's listed as a sellout every time you look at the
we've never not had a sellout.
Yeah,
like we haven't. I mean, we sold out every game in our whole history.
Yeah,
we've sold because we pre-sold all the seats. Like that's, and you know, it's kind of it's a brilliant idea from a ticket standpoint. But at the same time, is like, and also, why would they not want the PSL system to work? Right? Like, if you're an owner, like you're basically becoming a small bank where somebody gave you a lump sum of money to hold and manage. Right? Like, I mean, like, why you want PSLs going up? If you're the Panthers, you don't want them going down. Like, you make more money.
Well, the problem is like PSL, I guarantee you, if you go through the list of PSL owners, the amount that are actual businesses that own them.
It's probably like 50%.
Yeah. And so it's people that are.
And then they give them away.
They give them away, or they'll actually be businesses where they make money off of reselling. Like there are a lot of people out there. Like, I know one guy who has.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I know a guy here in Roanoke who has season tickets to every single stadium in the NFL. every single one, and he sells every one of his tickets every game, and he makes money every year off of that. Like that's how he makes his income. It's doing that stuff. Like it's quite entertaining to think about. But
he was loving that Cam coming back narrative.
Right.
He was hoping he saw.
No,
how those tickets looking now for the? Did the Pats win or lose to the Texans?
They won by 3 points.
Came back and won.
They came back and won. Oh,
they were kind of they were doing everything in their power to lose
David
that game.
Culley.
But the Houston Texans did more in their power to lose.
Yeah,
obviously.
Their powers.
All right, let's keep going with the calls.
Oh yeah, this your boy JNC. Yeah, at the game. I got one.
Sorry.
Yo guys, it's Nick from up here in Mass.
What up, Nick?
Hey, just wanted to address a lot of the negativity that I've seen on Panthers pages and whatnot. First things first, Sam. Okay. Yes, he had a very shitty game on Sunday. There were some promising points, but he had a very shitty game. Okay. Now,
he had his worst game of the year.
Before we all go back and say, well, we should have gotten this guy, we should have gotten that guy. First off, okay, why are we in the predicament that we were in to where we felt the need to go and get Sam? Dave Tepper and whoever else thought it was a good idea, okay, to cut Cam, put the ball in motion to get us to this point. Okay. Now,
Cam is not.
I will sit here and say that I don't think Cam is the same player that he was back in even 2017. Okay. Unfortunately, Ron Rivera and Ron Rivera alone ruined this man by not giving him a solid O-line. Okay. And because of that, Cam started to deteriorate over time, led us to him cutting him, us signing Teddy Bridgewater, who was a terrible fucking quarterback. I will say that, and I will continue to say that.
And you're right.
Okay? Teddy obviously wasn't the guy. Led us to Sam. Now, Sam has a lot of development that he still needs to do. Okay? He was under Adam Gase for 3 years. Okay? He needs to develop as a player with a proper O-line. I've been adamant on that ever since we signed Sam. The fact that he came from New York with a trash O-line and went to Carolina, who has just as bad of an O-line or possibly worse at this point. Okay, we did not do him any favors. So before everyone's real quick to jump on Sam's fucking whatever, okay, we need to put a solid O-line in front of him. I want to see what he will do over the next year and a half, okay, especially next year whenever we might have the chance to actually put some sort of O-line in front of him that'll keep him safe. Okay, so that's first.
I agree
Secondly,
with that.
Okay, the fact that, you know, a lot of PSL owners are selling their tickets to, you know, away fans, that sort of deal. There's nothing that you can do to actually control that.
Not have PSL.
Right? While I do not agree with it as much as it sucks, there's nothing that you can do about it. I'll be calling back in again.
So let's we're gonna keep pushing through with these calls quickly. Man, obviously we flogged the offensive line thing. It is offensive. I want to see more of Sam Darnold. I'm okay with that. Like I want to see, like, I mean, he had his worst game of the year.
Right.
I mean, that's the truth.
That's
right?
still on
Like
him.
He just had a bad, and I don't want to dismiss it. I don't want to over criticize it. I don't want to under criticize it. I do want to go to the Teddy thing for one moment. Why is it so we had Teddy Bridgewater. We gave him a 3-year deal. Everybody's like, oh, he's so smart. He knows everything of the Joe Brady system. Like, it was like, oh, he so smart at line. Why he goes to Denver and all of a sudden they're like, he's praying with people in the center. He's doing prayers with people. Like, and then it's not about him being the smartest mug. It's like him being the greatest person in the world. Are these storylines manufactured, or did we miss the Teddy Bridgewater praying in the center of the field being the greatest leader we've ever seen?
No, we didn't miss it.
You know, like why? Like why is it all of a sudden for us it was just him knowing the Joe Brady system and the Sean Payton stuff, and he was so smart, and now it's about him being the greatest person and the Jesus loving person.
By the way, let's have the same conversation in 2 weeks. Let's see how Teddy Bridgewater and the Denver Broncos continue to look going forward, or if it's the same old Teddy Bridgewater over there that we thought we had over here too, man.
I know.
Again, dude, it's
I know.
everybody.
If you watch his
hindsight's
games, it's still the same
20/20,
Teddy
man.
Bridgewater.
Yeah.
It's the difference here is that like they're going from a scenario where Drew Lock was throwing tons of interceptions and he wasn't really taking that step forward. And they're looking at Teddy Bridgewater with the same rose-colored glasses that we're looking at Sam Darnold with right now. Like, we're like, give him a shot. He could be an answer. Like, a lot of us thought that maybe Teddy Bridgewater could overcome what we thought were some limitations, but he never did. Right. And we found that out.
He drives
early
a
on.
Prius. Oh, wait. He drives a creepy ass van.
Or minivan.
I know.
Has a bag of candy that I'm sure he hands out to kids
Yes.
all creepy like and shit.
I can't get with it.
Anyway,
All right,
next call.
Hey, Tony.
What's up, Chuck?
Hey, guys. It's Chuck from Elizabeth City,
Pissed.
a.k.a. Carolina Sports Guy. I'm still not over this Eagles loss. It's hard for me to even get excited about the Minnesota game. I see very similar teams. A team we lost the game to last year that we should have won. Thank you, Mr. Bridgewater. DJ more wide open in the end zone. But anyway,
this is the saddest I've
Eagles
ever
game
heard,
has
Chuck.
just got me. I'm madder than a piano player and a marching band. I tell you, it's got me so salty. I'm madder than a mosquito in a warehouse full of mannequins. I'm just a little ill, and it's just one of them games. I think will come back and bite us in the butt for losing.
You're right, Chuck.
Hosting a playoff game or just even getting in the wild card or whatever it might be. Hard game to let go of.
You're right. You
But
can't
anyway,
lose
guys,
this
I
game.
hope everybody
You got to win this
try to
one.
be positive tonight because there is some positive things going on with this team.
Poor guy, man. He said, what did he say? I'm madder than a mosquito in a mannequin factory. And the other one was what?
I'm madder than a piano player in a marching band.
That's a good one, man. I ain't never heard that before. All right, let's keep going.
Hey, hey, hey.
Uh-oh.
You know who the fuck it is. Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka!
Booyaka.
What's up, fellas? It's Tuesday night. Motherfucker C3 podcast, baby. What's good, fellas? Tony, I need about 3 to 4 calls, man. I got a lot to say. I got a lot of information.
3 to 4 calls.
And I want to start with
Baby, it's almost
motherfucking
12,
Lamar
bro.
Jackson, man. Oh, my God. I don't know if you guys watched that game last night, but oh, my fucking God, man.
Yeah, Lamar's a beast.
Dude looks like a young Cam Newton in his prime. All that running around, just doing everything he can to get the fucking dub. That looks like Cam Newton, man. Like, and you want to know what's crazy, boys? Everyone wants to say, "Oh, Lamar Jackson can't throw." I mean, my God, I can't tell. Motherfucker can throw the ball better than Sam Darnold. I can tell you that. Motherfucker got a better deep ball than Sam Darnold. I can tell you that. I just want to start off with that. Now, on to Dante fucking Jackson being a top 5 corner in the NFL. This
We're
boy
about to go
is bad,
everywhere
boys.
with this call.
I genuinely think that Dante Jackson is top 5 corner in the NFL. Now I want to talk about Sean Chandler and Sam Franklin being special team players. We can't win with that in the secondary. We just cannot win with them rotating these guys out and them being on secondary. They're special team players for a reason. They shouldn't be on the fucking field. Next, CJ Henderson should be a full-time starter. He should be a full-time starter. He should be on the field with Dante Jackson and AJ Boye full fucking time. I don't want to see Sean Chandler or Sam Franklin or even that Melvin guy. I don't want to see those guys on the field during the defense sets. I just don't want to see it. And I'm going to talk about Chuba fucking Hubbard, man. He is balling out. He is playing his ass off, man. And I feel like with the way he's playing, if he can play like that within a few more years, we can slides Christian McCaffrey to the slot receiver, and that will only prolong his career. One running back once said, Reggie
Well, that's
Bush,
what we're hoping, right?
he said if he could go back in time, he would, towards the end of the later end of his career, he would switch to slot receiver just so he could prolong his career. And I think Christian McCaffrey should definitely do that. So, I'm about to get cut the fuck off.
Is this the most reserved G Baby call?
I love
ever?
G Baby's takes tonight.
I love G Baby's takes all the time. I always find that there's some kind of secret
your
wisdom
G-Baby, dude?
in G Baby's takes. Like people get overwhelmed by his emotion and his passion, but there's some kind of secret, deep something we can mine off of it. Tonight was the most reserved G Baby in the world, and CK, you actually were feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, there's a couple of things. I don't know about saying Dante Jackson's top 5. I mean, it's possible, but
that's a little rich for me.
You know, but
that's
I do believe Dante Jackson.
But he's playing great this year. I will give him that. Like he is playing fantastic.
My opinion of Dante Jackson in previous years remains the same. I'm not going to be able to change my opinion of what I saw from him in the previous years, but I'm telling you, this year he is changing my opinion on him as a player. It brings up a question that I'd like to ask, because I don't know that we have the will or the capability of re-signing him at the level that he's playing this game right now, right? The only way I can see that happening is if, number one, Chuba Hubbard decides to continue to ball out, right? And then now all of a sudden Christian McCaffrey's value on this team starts to plummet a little bit. Then all of a sudden maybe now there's a trade option for Christian McCaffrey. We have a little bit of room for Dante Jackson.
How about this? Are you going to be able to pay Dante before you're going to be able to pay DJ?
They both come up at the same time.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like, I mean, like to me, those are the questions. Like, you want to pay Dante or you want to pay DJ? And like at this point with DJ right now, I'm thinking like he is the dude to pay. And I'm not trying to shit on Dante. Been fantastic. Right.
I agree.
But if I had like the two, who are you going to pay, CK?
I mean, you're going to pay DJ. I mean, you got JC Horn and CJ Henderson on CJ Henderson on their rookie contracts right now. I mean,
I'm with
you. I don't think I really can't see a justification for paying Dante over DJ right now.
I think Dante might be playing himself out of Carolina.
Yeah.
Like
and that might be what he wants.
So good at this point where it's like we have some other financial questions that we're going to have to answer. And I just don't know if he's going to be the top of the top on that list. But I think Dante's having a fantastic season here. I'm pretty sure G Baby wants more.
It's G Baby. And I think we need to go sign Earl
his
Thomas.
girl must
Why
be
the
asleep
fuck
beside
not,
him.
Scott
He's
Fitter,
like calling
you drafted
underneath
this
the
man out in
covers.
fucking Seattle. Go get Earl Thomas. We do not have the type of safety play to be a championship defense, man. We just don't. We don't have no one that can come up and knock the shit out of people.
Like the Earl Thomas that was fucking the girl with his brother.
And I feel like we should.
I'll tell you why we're not getting Earl Thomas
on just a 1-year deal, or even Trey Boston. Bring Trey Boston back to fucking Carolina. He's a lot better than what the fuck we have. Or why not Eric Reed? Someone, a motherfucker that came up and can stop the run and still can fucking defend out on the fucking pass. And I think we should go sign Mitchell Schwartz, man. On Instagram, there was a Panther post, and he said he posted a picture of Mitchell Schwartz, and then he said bring him to Carolina. And Mitchell Schwartz commented underneath that fucking post and put both hands up like, why the fuck not? That's a Pro Bowl
Did
tackle.
you see how skinny he
I
was?
play Madden religiously. I've never seen Mitchell Schwartz.
And he was at a Jaguars
Madden,
game.
and he plays right tackle.
Titans game.
Why not go get him? Now I want to talk about Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore is a Hall of Fame type of player, man. He's a straight, pure technician. Stephon Gilmore, as of right now, is a 98 on Madden. If we want to prolong his career, why not move him to fucking free safety? Shit, Charles Woodson did it. Devin McCourty did it to prolong their careers, and they thrived in that shit. And I definitely think he could. Or why not switch AJ Boye to free safety? But we have got to get that safety position in control. Because if we don't, they're going to continue to run the fucking ball. I want to talk about Hassan fucking Riddick. My God, that boy's bad, man. Non-stop mortar. Man, you keep playing like that, you can get whatever fucking contract you want, Hassan. Blue-collar player. Playing his
2
fucking
sacks
heart
on 2
out.
plays.
Playing his fucking heart out. I have nothing but respect for fucking Hassan Riddick. Now, I think DJ Moore should be in the first one that we should re-sign, Dante Jackson, and then Hassan Riddick. They should all, 3 of them should all get their extensions. I don't give a fuck. Now, I want to talk about Taylor Moton being at left tackle and then Brady Christensen being at right tackle. That should not be it, boys. Taylor Moton should stick to his right tackle position, and Brady Christensen should stick to the left tackle. Think of it like this.
on fire, man.
Next time you wipe your ass, wipe it with the opposite hand you write with. And you're going to see what the results are going to be. They're totally different, boys.
It sucks,
Totally
G-Baby.
different.
So I broke
I think we should trade for Andrew Norwell and Trey Turner.
Trade for Andrew
Bring those
Norwell.
boys back to Carolina. We need some fucking dogs.
We need to trade for Dillard.
They're best
We need to
friends, man.
trade for cats that are still on that rookie deal. But G-Baby is right. He was right. G-Baby was calling underneath the covers. His beautiful girlfriend beside him, probably. And he was talking. He's like, I can't be as crazy as I usually get. But he is right. I broke my thumb on my dominant hand. I'm a lefty, and I had to have surgery. And guess what? I had to wipe my ass for 8 weeks with the opposite hand.
Careful, Tony. Mama's in the chat.
Oh, yeah, she is. Mama's here. I had
Wipe
to wipe
your
my
butt.
backside. It is not easy, like he is saying. And I'm just trying to say, G-Baby is right here. And this It's just not that easy to, and you do it, and you get it done, just like Taylor Moton got it done as well. I agree with him. Brady Christensen. I just think, look, I'm not gonna be down on Taylor Moton and his performance because one outing with very few reps, I thought he would, and he's the best guy on the field. Like, that's what we're gonna go crazy about. I agree. G-Baby was just going down the list. I don't know if I care about his free agent signings at the safety. I do think Stephon Gilmore could be cool as a safety in the future. Do you think that? I just don't think this year is where
you've seen a lot of corners make that transition. Like when they've gotten, like, it's similar to the same transition Larry Fitzgerald made from being a wideout to more of a slot receiver. Like you do that to prolong your career a little bit. Same thing with moving to safety. If you're a cornerback, I think that can help a little bit. But here's my my thoughts. The Earl Thomas thing, number one, there is no chance in hell we'll ever be able to sign him. And I'll give you one reason.
Why? We don't even want to, do we?
I don't know. I mean, at this point in time, we do have a lack of safety depth. But the reason that we would never be able to sign him, even if people want him, is you've got to remember what happened when Scott Fitterer was in Seattle and on Earl Thomas's last year in Seattle. Earl Thomas hates Seattle. He hates that office.
Oh, yeah. Remember when he gave the finger?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're not, I mean, as much as that, some people might like that idea.
Earl Thomas, when was the last time he played?
Well, hey, to their credit, that he hasn't played. He was in talks of being signed by Dallas, by a lot of other people.
He was with the Ravens for a second, right?
Yeah,
and then he had the thing with his brother where his girlfriend.
He also got
Do you remember that?
Fight. I do, but he also got into a fight with somebody on that team.
My mom's here. I can't talk about the details of that story.
Apparently, nobody wanted him on the football team. Like, apparently, he was like toxic in the locker room. I'm just telling you what I heard. Just on the internet, I think maybe they knew something about him that we didn't.
He's old too. That's like old news for me.
Yeah, I view him just like I do Richard.
I haven't even heard his name in a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Who knows if he's
like. I
still
mean,
in
you want to
shape?
like. We might as well be talking about Eric Reed, or as he said, Erica Reed. Next call.
Hey guys, it's Joey. I just wanted to say what I said on my call, one of my calls in the post game, the one that did not get played, because I had 3.
Well,
I wanted to say that Sam Darnold is
the
I mean,
best
he's gonna
quarterback
have a bad,
ever.
He's gonna have a bad game every once in a while, especially. I mean, you can't ask this dude to do like. Remember what he came from, okay? It's a lot to ask the dude to do with. By the way, no McCaffrey, a shit
Oh my
offensive
God.
line, and
Excuses. Everywhere
not
we
very
hear
much,
is just
and
excuses.
stuff like that. So it's a lot to ask for him right now. Could he do it at some point? I think next year. I think in a year or two, he'll be a quarterback that, if this game were in a year or two with Sam
I agree
Darnold
with
under
this
the
part of the call.
system, I think we would have won. I think Sam Darnold would have had a decent game. But, I mean, you have to ask yourself, I mean, Sam Darnold's comparison, because he left that jackass Adam Gase. Look who he has. He has Derrick Henry. Could he do what he does without Derrick Henry? I don't know. And they've got some issues right now.
Well,
The
they've
Titans
had a
aren't
lot
really
of. Yeah,
world
you
beaters.
ain't
I
lying.
mean, they kind of look better than us, but I mean, I'm sure Titans fans, if there are any in here, because they're a rare breed, okay? I was in a hotel in Raleigh, and this lady told me she was a Titans fan, and I was like, go figure. You don't see those every day. But yeah, if there are any in here, they might tell you.
That is the
they
best
might have
joke.
similar things to say, but
The
I think
blind
Sam
dude.
Darnold is not a finished product. I think we still got some work to do on him. I think he's that cheap-ass fixer-upper house that has so much potential and already showing some of it, but not all of it. It's not done yet. Anyway, guys. Wow.
I have to hear this joke one more time. Did you hear it? I mean,
You don't see those every day. But yeah,
listen to this.
go figure. You don't see those every day because they're a rare breed. Okay, I was better than us, but I mean, I'm sure Titans fans, if there are any in here, because they're a rare breed. Okay, I was in a hotel in Raleigh, and this lady told me she was a Titans fan, and I was like, go figure. You don't see those every day. But yeah, if they're in
Joey the Blind Panther in the
If you're a
hotel
Titans
lobby
fan.
said to a Titans fan, you don't see those every day. The
I
best
get it,
joke
'cause he
I've
doesn't see.
ever. The blind guy telling you that is so funny, Joey. Oh man, that made my night. Let's keep
Joey's the
What's
man.
good, C3? It's JD54.
Justin,
Just
what's
wanted
up,
to
bro?
call in, get my opinion on
So
the whole
funny.
Joe Brady talk. I was on I called in on P&P's podcast yesterday and spoke on it a little bit. All in all, I wouldn't be upset if Brady goes and gets a head coaching job, because at this point, I really want a new OC, because Brady hasn't shown me anything to make me believe that he's that wonder kid people spoke him up to be. You look at guys like Sean McVay. I can't think of the 49ers head coach. Shit, Norv Turner
Shanahan.
to a degree. You look at like these premier offensive coordinators, Andy Reid. When they know they have a weak link, they're able to scheme around it. The weak link on offense for us has been the O-line, and it was the weak link last year, and it's gotten weaker this year. Brady does not seem to be able to comprehend that his play calling needs to adjust, not for how the game is flowing, but for the lack of talent that the offensive line doesn't possess. You can't be calling plays that require the receivers to run long developing routes when you know your O-line can't hold up long enough for those receivers to get open. Like, the O-line's lack of ability to block, not only is it affecting Sam, it's affecting our receivers. Sam's been picked off, if I'm not mistaken, 4 times
when he's targeting DJ. And each one of the routes DJ's been running has been some curl hook shit, like where he's just in the corner sitting right behind him, waiting. Like the moment Sam arm comes up, he's breaking on the ball because he knows, yo, you can't run past me because if you do, your quarterback is going to get sacked. And Brady, as an
100%.
offensive coordinator, needs to understand this and scheme around that shit. There's plays out there for him to do that. And maybe once the O-line, the defense knows that they can't just get after Sam like that, then you can hear some deep shots or take some shots just to keep the defense honest. Brady has yet to show me that he's capable of thinking on the fly, if you want to say.
True.
So if he gets a head coaching job, power to him. And I would hope that Rule brings in an offensive coordinator that actually can get the best out of this offense. It's not simply about getting the best out of Sam. It's about getting the best out of the offense. It's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen until next season at best. Like I said in the comments, the best thing about how
is that it?
Yep.
Hey, Cody.
Yep. Hold on.
So we
There's
have
a bunch of repeat calls. Yeah, and that's it.
All right.
We're only doing.
No,
we're
listen.
trying to go through them.
I 100% agree with you, Justin. And listen, his ability to adjust has been, I think, one of the reasons why we performed so poor in the third quarter. I think a lot of it has to do with the offensive line too. But I mean, listen, we've all been pretty fair about this. There's enough blame to go around. Like, I don't think that you're going to see the best out of Joe Brady and what he's capable of doing until we get this offensive line fixed. I think it's worse than it was last year. A lot of us do. And it's starting to frustrate Robby Anderson. And listen, I know I haven't talked about it much yet, but I like the fact that Robby Anderson got pissed off on the sideline. At least we know that these guys care and they want to be put in the best possible situations to win football games. And if they feel like they're not getting that accomplished, yeah, they're going to take umbrage with it. They're going to get pissed off. So we definitely need to see some more inventive play calling. I just don't know if that's going to get any better until we fix this crazy offensive line situation, which we might be in consideration for some more trades, or we might just play our young players that are already on the football team.
Man, what's that one guard going to do? Anyway, let's keep going.
Hey, Cody. So we have a post-game show on Halloween because we play the Falcons that day.
Oh,
I dare you
spooky
to dress up as Ed Ogeron and talk like him the entire show. I dare you. Like, even doing the shout-outs, talk like that dude the entire show.
Dude.
And dress up like him for Halloween.
Trying to get you into
we
cosplay,
gotta get
dude.
you like a 20-year-old girlfriend.
Joey, I'm not cutting my hair like that, Ogeron. I don't feel comfortable putting on an LSU shirt. That would feel just nasty. But
wow,
I do a
Joey's on
pretty
fire
damn
tonight.
good at Ogeron
It's
voice.
good calls
I
tonight,
give
Joey.
that to
Let's
myself.
keep going. Let's keep going.
Hey guys, I usually try to come in positive, but I came in salty and I was complaining about the team and the fans. But I was in the car with two Eagles fans, to be fair. But, you know, they kind of got me back because I was at their house decked out in Panthers gear when the Panthers beat the Eagles in 2018. But that's not the point. Anyways, it's going to start out a little negative, but it's going to get more positive from there. You know, I got some advice. I'm not just coming here with complaints, you know. I have some solutions. I also want to ask y'all what y'all think. But anyways, so I'm going to draw a quick comparison to the Hurricanes. Like, when the Hurricanes sucked in 2014, nobody cared. They're pretty mediocre. Like, let's say I've seen a stadium less than 10,000 people in it. Let's say it's a Penguins game. That stadium's 50-50. Easy. Penguins, Hurricanes fans. But it's not just like, that's okay. I want the seats to sell. I want people to come to the game. But, like, I felt like the louder the Penguins fans would cheer, as long as it was a good game, like the Hurricanes gave it right back. Like, you could feel tension in the stadium. Like, you could feel like people were trying, like people got up for the game. Like, people knew like this was a big deal, and everybody was like fighting back. Like, they didn't just get up and roll over. This is when they sucked. And I'm at the Panthers game yesterday, and we're up 15-3. And not only is it like people don't cheer on let's not even just say third down, but defense in general. People just don't cheer. I don't even care about the standing up part, although I like to stand up on
messed
third
up.
down. But
And just cheer, just clap
I
on
don't
the
know. It's
right
not just that people
downs,
don't cheer.
folks.
It's like I feel like I'm a nuisance to the other people around me when I don't cheer. I feel like people are almost like, "Wow, this guy's being annoying right now." I don't feel like, and I think other people kind of share that view with me, and that's not from talking about just sitting in the Eagles game. We have some Panthers fans, and they're pretty quiet, and this guy was in front of us, and I guess he was with his girlfriend, stuck up family or something, and as the game went on, I was kind of quieter at first, because I was like, no one else is doing anything. I don't want to be like that guy, but by the end, I was like, fuck it, I am going to be that guy. Fuck it.
You paid to be
the
there.
More I cheered,
They
the more
need you.
I cheered with me. If we can just get more of that energy in there, more people will join. But I feel like you don't you walk into Bank of America and you don't feel that energy. I want to be a hard stadium to play in. I want to be, I want it to be tough to come to Carolina, but people just walk in here and any team that's from the north or has, a lot of people who move down here, we get overrun every single time. But here's my advice. I want everybody to come in. If you're able to go to a Panthers game or two, then come in and don't be, hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to cheer, and fuck you if you don't. Come in hey, I want to cheer, I want to get loud, I'm excited to be at the Panthers game. And, if the people get upset around you or anything like that,
Fuck
just
them.
positive vibes only. You want to bring people up. It should be,
Well, yeah, positive vibes. It's a positive
we're at a fucking
F
Panthers
you.
game. We should be having a good time.
Look, let me give fans advice. Is the whole reason we any of this matters is because we care about it, right? If you think about it, it's a game. Actually, none of it matters. Your mortgage matters more, your job matters more, your family matters more, your soul matters more. But we choose to make this important, right? If you're at a sporting event, you chose to make it important in your life. So if you went to that game with a rooting interest, which I don't know why you even if I went to a game of two teams I didn't care about, I feel like I would choose a team to kind of be rooting for. So here's the whole thing. That's the whole point. The whole reason it's a multi-billion-dollar industry is because we cheer and we have fun. Your whole point is to have a good time. So as long as you're not being a jerk to other people, directly, your whole point is to have a good time at these games. That's number one.
Great.
Number two, with fan etiquette, whatever the team you're cheering for is this. When your team is on defense, on third down, you cheer. That's what you do. That's the down to be loud on. Save it. Don't be cheering during the timeouts. Don't be cheering. That's the time to be cheering. Oh, wait. When your team's on offense, be quiet on third down. It's very simple. You don't even have to be the craziest person in the stadium, but clap on third down on defense, folks. Have fun at a game and don't be a jerk to someone else who is having a good time at a game cheering for their team. As long as they're not being mean and rude to you, that's the whole point. That's the whole dang point.
But when do Panther fans learn this shit? It seems simple.
It's very simple. It's not. I feel like I would teach a child this. If we took a baby, a 3-year-old to a game, we'd say, "You see a 3 up there?
Cheer!" It's so simple. We keep on having the same conversation about how we better the fan base and get fans to be better.
Just go have fun, mofos.
You guys,
dude.
You want to know
and
something?
Don't be apologetic about it. I don't think the caller was being apologetic. I very much respect anybody who is mature enough, because I have not been mature enough in many times to where I'm the person that's a little bit too much. But if you pay $200, you better go have fun.
Yeah. The funny thing that I will say is I've had somebody who's joined me where their first NFL game they've ever been to. They've always gone to like West Virginia games or Virginia Tech games, and they came to the Panthers game, and they were like, they laughed because our fan base does not know how to cheer. Like he was talking about, like, number one, just screaming at the top of your lungs does nothing. Like, it actually, you lose so much more sound by doing that. He was like, you go to college games, they've got it like to a down pat, like the
chants
yeah,
at certain times.
yeah, and
there's
it's not
a culture
it's not
of
about
chanting.
Yeah, it's
and,
not about
and not to mention overtly interrupt her. I'm an interrupter, obviously, but that's what. Why do you think everybody was pissed about the "Keep Pounding" chant?
Yeah.
Like, because the 5 people that knew how to cheer were like, hey, this is the one organized cheer we have. And you want to take it away? We're not even good at cheering. And you take away the one pre-K teacher telling us how to cheer. Anyway, let's keep going.
All right, this is part 2. This is going to be real quick just to finish this up. But, like, we'll come in. And I don't care how many people show up to the stadium. There can be a lot of empty seats, but I want the people there to care. And that's how I always thought about the Hurricanes.
Just have
I felt
fun,
like the people who were
folks.
there cared, even when we didn't have. And it's a small arena and stuff like that. But I know Bank of America can get loud. I've been there. I don't want to be. I've seen it get loud in the playoffs and big games. But all I want to say is just come in. Like, you know what? You're gonna have to be okay with failure. Once a quarter, I try to start a keep pounding chant. And does that fail almost every time? Yes. But you know what? You're going to have to take some L's. You're going to have to be in some awkward situations. You're just going to have to, a lot of fans are going to pull up. So, because I want to end this call on the most positive note. I want to give a shout out to all the people I do see cheering, all the people I do see cheering up. Because I'm telling you, you just got to be willing to fall flat sometimes. There's going to be some awkward times. But if you just keep pounding and keep on going, like, we can change it. All it takes, by the end of that game, I was cheering, and there was one more Panther. It was only one guy, but there was one more Panthers fan cheering that wasn't really cheering in the beginning of the game. That's all I'm saying. We got to go in positive vibes only. I want to cheer. I want to see our team do good. I want to have a good time at a Panthers game. Come cheer with me. Keep pounding, bull.
He said, "Come cheer with me." I mean, like, is there anything, like, who's going to be the person in the chat room that says no to that? Jesus. God, my mom's still in here. She's Catholic. She can be like, you shouldn't have said the word Jesus unless you were praying to him. And she's right. But just when you're there, you might as well have a good time.
No doubt. Yeah, if you're going to be at a football game.
I mean, like, anywhere, like, wherever you go. Like, I mean, like, you're just going to be here and be miserable. You might as well have a good time while we're on this podcast. You might as well have a good time. Sure. Like, that's the whole point. And if you only went to cheer when they win, then I hate to tell you, you better find a new hobby. Because you ain't seen our offensive line. It's offensive. Next call.
Hey, boys, it's KB. What's going on? Hey, so I'm not on here tonight to talk, over and over again about how bad the O-line is or how good Sam Darnold may or may not be. But I want to ask you guys, what are we going to do in the off season, or, I mean, actually, what are we going to do by the trade deadline? My question, what I want to propose is a brief discussion on between Robby Anderson, DJ Moore, and Dante Jackson, who do we sign? Because obviously Robby Anderson, we just re-signed him, right? So we have him. But what do we do with those 3 players if people were to come to us willing to give us draft picks? I'm a little concerned that we're not going to be able to pay, Dante Jackson and DJ Moore. I mean, there's just no way. I don't think that can be possible. So unless you ship off Robby Anderson, which I don't think you're really able to do, the only other person would be DJ Moore. And Dante Jackson, I don't know. Who do you want to keep more? Is it DJ Moore or is it Dante? Who would you rather keep? Because, I mean, I'm telling you what, man, trade's going to start coming in here real soon. We're getting up to the deadline, and now more than ever is going to be the time to get the best value out of either one of those guys, DJ or Dante. But Robbie's not looking too happy right now in Carolina either. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I'd like to hear a unique, different discussion besides from just O-line, you know? All right, guys. I might call back in here later after listening a little bit. Who knows?
Who do we sign? Who do we trade?
I mean, I think you sign DJ Moore, and you before the trade deadline. I could see maybe I don't know. I don't know that you trade. I mean, you can't trade any of them, you know, really, because they're all in 1-year deals, and you're not going to trade them before the trade deadline because this is not a lost season, right? I think they have a high hope for what this season can be. And you know, why else trade for Stephon Gilmore outside of the, you know, getting the extra, you know, a better round pick for him. But I don't know, man. I think you signed DJ Moore, and honestly, here's the thing. I think you signed DJ Moore. Not that I want this to happen. You signed DJ Moore, Hassan Reddick, and Dante Jackson, and you trade Christian McCaffrey, especially if Chuba Hubbard continues to do well.
Can I give you a very not popular answer?
Let's hear it.
As long as Christian McCaffrey is a part of this team, DJ Moore is a little bit redundant because he's never going to be the main part of our offense. It's always going to be Christian McCaffrey. So are we really going to pay DJ Moore number one wide receiver money? Are we making DJ Moore the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL?
No, I don't think. You think that's what he's going to ask for?
But listen, you don't know that he's not. I mean, what
I don't think I would give him that money even if we didn't have Christian McCaffrey.
I mean,
I would try to re-sign him, but I would be trying to pay him like the Devontae. What was the Devontae Adams or I mean, he is a top receiver, but he ain't the top.
Yeah, but
Like,
he's not telling him
10.
that, man.
Yeah.
No one goes into their contract negotiations and they're like, "Yeah, I think I'm top 10. Give me top 10 money."
Sure,
no,
I mean,
that.
no. I
It's
mean,
the
I would
next man up.
want him to ask for the most, but I mean, like, I think it would be almost ridiculous if we didn't give. Like, you think he would turn down like top 8 money? I mean, I don't know what that exact number is with inflation for year to year, but like, I mean, I don't. Do you think that DJ needs a record-setting contract?
I mean,
do you think someone else would
don't
give him the record-setting? I think he would want a 5-year deal, like something that really is good, like a great deal. Ain't gonna lie about that. It's going to be expensive. I think this is that. I think if we pay Dante, we're gonna a little overpay, maybe. Like, because it's a free agent signing. I think if you pay DJ, you're going to pay a top number. Like you said, I don't know if it's an overpay. Probably be adequate and fair. I think the best person to trade, and sadly, I don't want to say it because I love him to death, is Hassan Reddick. Is right now the numbers are so dope.
But how do you trade him if he's on a 1-year deal? Like, that's what I'm
that's
saying.
Everybody, most of the time, that's who people end up trading. They're trying to make a splash right now. They're trying to make a win. Like, they need somebody right this second. They're not like trying to pay them for the long haul.
Yeah, but a lot of times the people that trade those people away are ones that maybe aren't necessarily in contention for playoff.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Like, you don't want to trade away your asset when he's been our best player on defense.
On the defensive line, for sure. Yeah.
Period. I would say arguably, period, man. Like, he's been fantastic. All right, let's get through these last 2 calls.
Hey, Tony, Cody, CK, Chuck from Elizabeth City, a.k.a. Carolina sports guy. You know, I know we knew the biggest weakness we had this year was our offensive line. We knew that. And we
also for the last 8 years.
Man, this offensive line is so atrocious. The guard play, no push, the press that we get up front on pass plays, we can't throw into the ball. And the center Paradis, this guy is Tahir Whitehead on the offensive side of the ball.
He called him Tahir Whitehead. That's so mean.
Vanilla offense. We can't get anything done. In the first game, yeah, we look great. And I hate to replay.
We
plays
got
in my head, but
quiet.
I
We
just
got
think,
calm
man,
G
there's something
Bay,
going on
G
for Saddle
Baby, and
needs that one
sad
pass to
Chuck.
Robby Anderson a couple more inches. Because the Eagles defensive player made a hell of a play. But if Robby catches that ball, if it gets to it, and we scored, we're not even having this conversation.
It's ifs and
It's
buts
inevitable.
and candies and nuts and this and that and this.
Hey
last
guys, it's Chuck
45
from Elizabeth
seconds.
City, aka
He's
Carolina
that.
Sports Guy.
Oh.
If I gotta hear one more freaking rant about bringing freaking Eric Reed or Trey Boston or Mitchell Schwartz back, what's wrong with the people that call in on this show? Trying to bring a bunch of
Look,
retreads.
we got. He
It's
went
one
from
thing with
sad
Cam
Chuck.
to bring in his wardrobe back in here, and Joseph in the dream coat, the 7 colors or whatever the freak it's called, but to bring every freaking loser back. I tell you what, let's do
He
this.
caught them all
Let's fire
losers.
Chase Blackburn as our special teams coach, and let's let Chase Blackburn play on the offensive line. How about doing that?
I feel like anybody could play on the offensive line and it would be less offensive. I also agree with you. Is like I'm not ready to call these dudes losers. Like they were cool like 5 years ago. Like I'd be excited about Eric Reed 4 years ago. I'd be excited about Earl Thomas or what is that who it was? 5 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. We've flogged the horse. The calls have been great.
We got them all?
one. Yeah, we're done. I ain't taking no more calls. It's over. We gotta go.
All right.
We gotta go. But we gotta ice some fools up. We got tomorrow night. We got the beat check. Nick Carboni. We also have Debate My Take, where Cody and I head to head. I'm telling you, like I'm gonna take him. He's gonna be on this hill dying, and I'm gonna kill him up there. I'm gonna kill him on this hill.
I'm gonna take Tony out behind the woodshed like old Yeller and put this old timer down because the good old days is behind him, y'all.
Debate My Take tomorrow. The beat check. We've got the Madden simulations. We've got the Friday Freak for All. Man, it's all done. But now we gotta ice some fools up. Does anybody got a good ice up pick? I got a pick. It's not great, but I got one pick. All right, I'll go first then, since I'm asking y'all. I'm floating it out there. I'm gonna debate. My ice up pick goes to. I was at this restaurant. I was taking my kids to dance back and forth. We're gonna wait. Cute, pretty girls working, whatever. And they make their living sort of off of being pretty and this and that, serving you, you know. And this pretty girl was wearing Crocs. How you gonna be wearing? I'm sorry. First of all, I ice up all y'all fools in Crocs, period. They ain't my joints. Second, girls in Crocs that are trying to make them. It's like this. I was like, you get the 10%, yeah. Nah, that's messed up. It's messed up. Actually, it wasn't my waitress, and I always tip 20 unless you're bad. But guys, Crocs are bad. Number one, girls in Crocs are worse. That's my ice up pick.
They are worse. CK, you got one?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I talked about it earlier. I mean, how do you not ice up John Gruden at this point in time? I mean, like, listen, you can make the argument it was 10 years ago or any of that, but you know, if you read it back and you still look at it like, and you cringe at it like the way that I think we all do, like, I mean, you know, 10 years ago you did the same thing. Like, I and by no means was I defending him earlier, right, with saying like I don't think he's a bad person. I think that we all just say stupid shit, like that's human nature. But I mean, guys, you got to think about it. Like, we live in a world where trolling is acceptable almost, and right now we like the fact that we feel like that people feel like they're so isolated from the like being equal from everybody else in certain categories is not just an American thing, it's a human thing. And the fact that we can't, you know, come together and actually realize how much we are alike as a species, we're going to continue to run into these situations where we constantly demean and knock down other people that are different than us. It's just going to continue to roll and roll until we start to realize that empathy. I mean, we've been taught it from a young age, but we weren't really taught it. We were taught it, but we were also witnessing our parents and our friends and everybody do the opposite of it. So it's kind of like do what we do, not what we say type of thing. We've had the golden rule in effect since we were toddlers. Do unto others what you would have do unto you, but then you know, witness everybody else do complete opposite of that shit. And so it's really tough, man. I think right now it's maybe less about, because people want to talk about America being the problem here. It's not America. It's not America. It is human. It is human error. It's human nature. It's human, like, it's just the way that it is. Like, we've been taught. It's in nature, every aspect of it. It's even in the, if you look at what animals do, they don't go and congregate with other animals. It's the same concept, but we've just got to be able to find a way to overcome that, and realize that, you know, we're more alike than people want to, like. And I say this, and I don't know, maybe I'm going off on a tangent here, but like, I say this because I've worked in the public, dealing with people in the public on a regular basis. I talk to people every day, and people say the same stuff, that like, no matter what culture you're a part of, whether you're black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. Everybody says the exact same stuff. Like, they think they're being unique, but we're all so alike that we feel like we're being unique, but we're the same. Every one of us, we have different tendencies, but we are all in all very similar. So I think we just need to be able to realize that, overcome our differences, and actually be open to hearing other people's sides of things. That goes every way. And that's something I just want to ice up, you know, I guess the world, but also John Gruden for losing his job.
Black, white, Asian, European, South American, purple, gold, green, Marsha and not, y'all look silly in Crocs. That's it. Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, so listen,
I'm telling you, y'all look silly in Crocs.
So I'm after the first slate of games last Sunday, I saw that the team that we are going to play, the Minnesota Vikings, they beat the Detroit Lions, and they have a brand new head coach named Dan Campbell. And the Minnesota Vikings came back at the very end to win the football game when it looked like the Lions had done enough to win.
Right.
And, well, I don't know how else to say it, but Dan Campbell was not taking it very well.
When you see your players give all that they have,
oh my God, he's crying.
It's tough. You know, you don't want that for them. So, but we'll be better for it, you know. And there again, credit Minnesota, but you know, we made the one mistake that cost us, you know, and so ultimately, you know, we didn't do enough to win. But I was proud of them, and I love the fight they have in them, and I love the grit.
Hey, bro, it's week 5. Maybe chill out just a little, man. You didn't lose the NFC Championship game. Like, look, I'm not one of those assholes that shames men for crying. I'm like, hey, man, let it out. Let it out if you need to. But it's like, dude, okay, you haven't won at all this year, and you're up at the podium crying. Like, man, I know you're an emotional dude, but it's like this just makes you look overly emotional, bro. I don't know how else to tell you, man.
You and I are on opposite sides of this coin, Cody. I think.
Oh, you loved it? Oh, dude, no, you love this dude?
Bro,
He's
listen.
endearing himself to us.
Listen, if you're a player and you see this guy out here literally bleeding his heart out because he is like, he hates to see you get like if you look at how heartbreaking the losses have been for the Detroit Lions, like think about this. It's not just this game. Look at their entire season, Cody.
It was a lot, though. It's pretty heavy, though.
Bro, dude, but you're crying over a football game that you could have won, but you still lost. Dude, it's on him. That's a bad coach football team, and he's out there crying, and he hasn't won
Not a bad coach. Everybody loves him right now, man. His stock is
I'm
rising.
rolling my eyes so hard at this dude.
Look
man.
at his schedule and tell me how close those games are, and tell me that that's a bad coached football team. Like, yes, they're the Detroit Lions, and they could go
It
winless
is
this
kind
year.
of wild to see such a big, strong person crying in a place that you don't expect them to be crying
Dude,
at.
he's
I ain't
like
gonna-
6'5".
it'd be like if Arnold Schwarzenegger was crying at the end of Predator.
Dude, he's like 6'5", 260 pounds. I don't know. Maybe he's in a dude, but
He's
I
in
don't know.
tune,
Maybe,
bro.
maybe this
He's
is
in
just me,
tune.
but it didn't really like come off very genuine. And I know
What do
you might
mean
be
it didn't
thinking,
come off genuine?
You know why? Because if you hear this other guy's press conferences, like he's always trying to say
Fighting
something that starts
kneecaps.
a
He's being
headline.
trying to be tough, man.
Yeah,
he got
like he's
stuck.
dude.
He
This guy,
bit a kneecap
this
off and
guy
still
wants
lost.
to be on TV, man. He wants to be on TV. And
I'm
I
actually
think that's
with
a
it.
part
I
of
like
his
him.
shtick.
No, I like
Yeah,
him.
I'm
It's
like I
like
said, I'm on the opposite end of this, but yeah.
What's
Hey, you can be on
he
there.
kind of reminds me of who was the wrestler that became the governor? He was also in the Predator.
yeah.
He reminds me of him.
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, he reminds me of
Yeah,
him.
Jesse the
Like
Body
that,
Ventura.
like, all right, we got to get out of here. It's so late. I can't believe.
How is your mom up right now?
I know, because she's like me. She's a night owl. She don't like to go to bed.
But tell them where they can find us, Tony.
The C3 Panthers podcast, Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Going till the end, obviously. I blame this on my wife. The reason that this podcast has gone so late tonight, because she was like, how long is this show going to be tonight? And I was like, I don't like to say the answer to that. And she's like, what? You guys got a lot to talk about? I was like, if I say no, then we'll be up here all night. And that's exactly what happens. We didn't have enough to talk about, and we still here until 12:45. It's ridiculous. Longest show of the season with nothing to talk about. Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Wednesday night, beat check. Wednesday night, debate my take. Friday night, Friday free for all. In between all of that, homeboys dropped the best joint, the Madden simulations, where y'all are getting jobs. Like, y'all are going to be like the Monday night crew by the end of
They
this.
need to. I'm accepting it if they come calling.
You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Call into the show at 252-228-5098. Please smash the thumbs up button. Tell one person about the show. That's all you got to do. Pass it on to one person. It means a lot to us. That's how we grow, man. I'm telling you this. Somebody came up to me today. They said, I saw you with a Panthers hat and your shirt on a few weeks ago. And I came up and I was like, oh, you're a Panthers hat? I was like, yeah, this is my website too. And he subscribed to the show. He's been listening since. His name's Travis. So thank you for your support. Like, one person, one time, one download, one like helps a lot. Cody Lashney, how can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Cody Lack, CODYLAC on Twitter. You can find all my written content on drafttech.com, where I am the Panthers analyst for the Carolina Panthers. I write first and second round comments. And then, every Friday at 7 p.m., Friday free for all. You can join the show yourself. I post the link for people to be able to come in the show, and you can tell me whatever you think. We can have a back and forth discussion, dialogue about the Carolina Panthers, about the NFL. It's the Friday free for all, baby. Every Friday at 7 p.m. That's your show. Come hang out with your boy.
Debate Your Mom does have legs, Joanne. That has some legs to it. Like, that would get some views, and it would just make me furious. I would be the maddest I've ever been mad is Debate My Mother. CK, how can they find your work?
You can find me on most social media platforms and streaming platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Gaming. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, all of those. Code Dizzle Allen, Code Dizzle _Allen, whatever iteration I use for them. If you guys want to check me out, I stream most mornings, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, from 9:30 to 11:30. And then on Mondays and Wednesday evenings and Friday nights. Now keep an eye out Wednesday or Thursday night for the next week's for the Vikings Madden simulation. We'll drop that, and that'll be that we've been doing the premiere. What time? Around 8, 9 o'clock, Cody.
Yeah, around that time. It's going to be around we're trying to do it around 8:30.
Yeah. So we do it right in the middle of the Thursday night football because, like, let's be honest, if you want to watch us or you want to watch real Madden or the game that has nothing to do with the Panthers, that's entirely your choice. But it is a fun time. So we
so
do
good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like every time I listen to it, I'm like, this is so good, folks. And look, the people in the chat room are shouting you out. You do have a sultry, sexy voice.
Well, I appreciate it. I have a slight lisp, and that's that gives me a little bit of confidence or self-consciousness, I guess. But Cody and I, we do a really good job. Cody's a fantastic color commentator. He comes in with some really good takes, and he's always on point there as well. So I got some things I need to work on with it. I need to get better about my responses to Cody from being absolutely.
You read the comments too much. I read that comment too, dude.
Yeah,
don't worry
you're
about that. Y'all are fantastic. Like, you got
it's good.
so many
I
people
enjoy the
saying
feedback.
this. It's like they're like, oh, it's freaky good. Like I thought you were part of the game. I thought you were this. It's wonderful. All right, we got to get out of here. Thanks for all your support, and I want to give a big shout out to the two people in this podcast with me, Cody Lashney, CK. Thank you guys. You're the best. You're my boys.
Of course.
And just remember this is go to the game and cheer on third down. And if we're on defense and if we're on offense, be quiet. That's it. Those are two rules.
Right.
We'll see you next. The other rule. We'll see you Tuesday nights. We'll see you tomorrow night. We'll see you every night. C3 Panthers podcast. We out of here, fools.
Keep pounding.